y'all.
Now I'm just playing. I've got way too early to be taking victory laps, huh? Cheers to everybody. For the few folks out here. I mean, there's only a handful of us, right? But we're probably all on GameStop. Cheers. Hey, good day for a change, huh? You believe this shit? Jesus Christ, cigar about my ass. I mean, we'll see, dude. We'll see, but big day, huh? Look at this. So it's still up after hours. I just sat down again right now. I just saw it was over 7. I just saw it was over 7 a bit, but big day, huh? Big day. So, I mean, what we talked about on Friday, I saw a lot of people were talking about it this weekend, too. You saw, I tweeted out a couple of things this weekend, too. A lot of it was the research that we did on Friday night, right? That was sick. And then, so all the tweets that you saw, it was based on the stuff that we did on Friday. I uploaded that live stream. I changed it just to make it clear. It was like mostly GameStop related. We spent like 90 minutes on that, right? On that Cohen research, right? And really, that research that we did, I was much more bullish about the situation. And then I don't know if you saw, but he bought some more today. And what's interesting about this is he bought more today. He's up to like 9.6% shares. And I tweeted today too. If they bought back shares, he owns a ton. But let me just show you something here. So he filed the 13D after hours, and so he bought like 400,000 more, right? And he's up to like 9.6. But what I also noticed, the only other change that I noticed is a little bit. Ah, shit! I'm blocking the way. Let me move this over. Two things I noticed. One, he removed that $6. Remember that first row was $6, and the other one. Oh, let me open it up. All right, so see this row? So two things. Also look at the dates. So just as an example, August 17th, 470,000, and then check this one. August 17th, August 14th, 470,000. I think what he did was he originally filed. Oh, is this the new one? I think he changed it from transaction date to settlement date. Either it's an error or I don't know. I'm not sure how it's supposed to be filed, but that caught my attention. And then also just the disappearance of this. When I talked about on Friday was, and I don't know. Some people were saying that he was the one who bought after hours. In fact, someone commented on the video that they said that too. That's a possibility. I just didn't think it was likely because I didn't see the rationale of buying. Why would you buy after hours or pre-market? Excuse me, pre-market. I don't understand that rationale. And so it seems a little bit odd to me. Unless he's testing liquidity, I get that part. But now I'm thinking based on this new filing, it removed it. And so I remember what I mentioned on the stream was that I think that this may have been his original cost basis over here when he purchased these in his individual capacity more than 60 days ago. Anyway, a little bit odd. And I mean, I don't know. There's not a big takeaway or anything like that. There's no major takeaway to here, but it's just something that caught my attention. Something I'll keep an eye on in the next filing. But maybe that was the primary reason for immediate. She's good. I thought he might drag his feet on updating, filing an updated 13D. I thought he had some time, especially if he's trying to build a new position. So maybe he's only going up to 9.9% and then he's pausing. But again, if they bought back shares this quarter, he owns 15% of the company. And that's the announcement to look out for during earnings. That's going to be the first thing I'm going to be looking for, because if they bought back those, I estimated they could have bought back about 24, 25 million shares. Would they have they still have 120 million authorization? I would think. I'm pretty sure it's 120 million. And at a $5 share price, which is what they had plenty of opportunity to do, then they could have bought back 25 million, and then you're down to 40 million shares. And then if you're down to 40 million shares, holy shit! Then you might actually, I've been saying I don't lean too much toward a short squeeze, and this is a start, but this isn't really a short squeeze. I mean, we just barely made a 52-week high. It could be the start of it, right? I guess that's what people are excited about. I mean, we still trade below cash, right? So, but anyway, it's a huge step in the right direction because now the market's pricing in this. It's starting to price in, I mean, it's up. You know what I mean? It's always red all this time, and so the market's like starting to pay attention. That's important. And look at this volume, huh? 37 million. God, jeez. It's actually not that crazy a volume though. If you check this. Oh, that's crazy. What I had up earlier was the weekly. I think I had the weekly. I said, it's not that much on the week. And then it's like, oh, today's Monday. Okay, that's crazy. I thought I was going to say 37 million. So they got up there a bit in the past, back in June when they sold off after wow, they almost had as much volume as when they cut the dividend. Interesting. Ton of volume, right? So we saw how much Cohen was buying back today. We saw that right here. Bought back about 415. And could the company have been buying back today? That's not. They could have been. You know what I mean? There's been plenty of liquidity to have exhausted that authorization. Again, I still lean toward that into it, but I'm just saying, if you're talking about short squeeze, you need to be focused on that type of a thing. And so that'll be interesting. What do we got? We're 7 business days away now. Wow. Okay. But now it's trading up after hours. I don't pay much attention to the after hours. Whatever. Who cares? I've just seen it. I mean, you like to see it up. But it's a lot of noise. How much is what I do is to check after hours. I'll do NASDAQ, GME. That's where I can see the after hours, the volume and stuff like that. Again, I don't pay too much attention to it, but I want to see how much volume. It's not that much. 405,000. I mean, it's something, but it's don't overweight this type of a thing. It's not worth it. Okay, so that's that. But, geez, yeah, so what else did I say? What was I saying in the tweet? No, sorry, I'm trying to remember. Was there something else I wanted to touch on? Oh, yeah, I mentioned if they did do share repurchases, all that stuff. Oh, yeah, just trying to have some fun, you know what I mean? Okay, so we'll see. So there were some articles. This is what I was going to show. There's some articles today. This is a step in the right direction. People talk about, there was a Barron's article, The Street. I mean, I was focused more on the Barron's and Bloomberg. So legit things. It's a step. I'd like to see a bit more. Market watch this one too. It will be big if he starts doing media rounds. If he starts talking about his position, which you wouldn't expect until he's probably fully built his stake. But I'm excited for that. I really want to see what he has to say because you see see my tweets over the weekend, like and we watched these videos during the stream. Oh, I had it open. I must have closed it out. Like we won't watch these videos again today. But I was walking through, like you replace that word pet with gaming. How is it not the same thing? Like it's a bit absurd how much overlap there is between these two, between his playbooks for the companies. It's silly. It's silly. So it doesn't mean it's going to work out, but. Again, it's traded so cheaply relative to what fair value looks like it could be, and a sentiment is so heavy and negative that someone like this, and it sounds like it might be picking up, that someone like this, it could change people's thinking, and then people start viewing him through a different light. And so my expectation is that this is just the beginning. I mean, I think this is just the beginning. And he clearly bought more, and the market's maybe reacted a little bit to that. Look at this chart. I mean, I mentioned that in the video too. Look, it's getting stopped out. We're doing a test, technical analysis testing, right? That's getting stopped out right around this. It made a new 52-week high today, but it's getting paused right there. Nothing. That's okay. That's kind of healthy. It's look at the overbought. It's overbought on the daily by the most it's ever been in this. What is this? 1.5 years? 1.5. And bullish. It's weird saying the GameStop chart is so bullish, right? Like undeniably bullish. Who's gonna look at this and tell me it's not bullish? I'll tell you who. People who go like this. It ain't that bullish because they pull up the monthly. Monthly still doesn't look that great, but it's turning around. Like we're right there. We're like one more big up move. Like you need to break above 7, a clean break above 7, and just start running. Then forget about it. Like then you get the technical analysts on, and they'll be piling on. Then you just need kind of management to. if they pull off something on earnings. I'm not saying that they will. I don't know, but some unexpected announcement. We got the sale leaseback. Maybe, like originally, I wasn't thinking the stock might trade up on the sale leaseback news, but maybe with these new rose-colored glasses, if people have them on, it will. And they go, oh, we didn't expect them to have that much more cash, or I don't want to get too hung up on the share buybacks, but it's definitely something you got to pay attention to. But if they mention the share buybacks, the sale leaseback, maybe if it's more than people they expected, or maybe if the quarterly earnings is better than people are pricing in, maybe people expecting a hugely negative quarter, but if it just turns out not to be that bad, now you start. This is the thing. This is why I've long felt, not long felt. I mean, I'm somewhat new to technical analysis, but what makes sense to me is that it's like a manifestation of people's sentiment and stuff. And pretty much every time GameStop comes up with the news or whatever it is, the market almost always perceives it as negative. The one time it perceived something as positive back in March, it sold off that same day or the next day and then made a new low. But what happens is, as time passes, just the sheer passage of time, and of course the fundamental events unfolding positively as they have been. How much do we keep on talking about this on the stream? The investors start viewing it differently. They just start viewing, you know what, this quarter wasn't that bad. Sale leaseback, that's a lot of cash. Whereas we've been talking about this on the stream, not that much, but a lot of people generally following GameStop have been talking about it. And now it's like, but now the market cares. And so maybe Cohen is going to be could be that catalyst. So we'll see. Let's see some follow through and everything, but I'm really encouraged by what I've seen so far. His decision to buy more today. I'm curious about what his plan here is, if he's going to buy more and stuff. I don't want to get too hung up on that because it's just his involvement, and it seems like he's probably in it for the long term. But we'll see what he has to say about it. But geez, if this break above 7 tomorrow and like holds, and then holds for the week, and then he starts doing the rounds, and then you get earnings. Like this could be. I mean, I mentioned in the video, could be explosive. We're nowhere close to that yet, but 37 million shares, crazy. Huh? How high did it get up to today? 715. What are the shorts going to do? What are they? That's the thing. You need a little bit of time. You need people to buy into the new narrative. You need people to buy into GameStop's new long-term outlook, because then you don't have as many people selling on the way up. I think I mentioned that on Friday. If everyone's still bearish about its long-term outlook, people will sell on the way up, and then the shorts will be able to close their positions and stuff. But really, this is beyond my expertise. I don't. These types of market mechanics, like maybe those funds, the large funds that own so many shares, wouldn't they be buying more of the stock as it rises, not selling, and then naked shorts and stuff? I don't really know, but it has so many. Oh, I think, you know what I saw today? Market Watch GameStop. I'll go to Market Watch to get the latest short interest. I think it's ahead of Yahoo Finance by a day. So we just got it today or the past couple days, but 55 million short on August 14th. Now 37 million shares traded today. We'll be curious to see what the updated short interest that we get in like 2 weeks or so will kind of coincide. No, it'll be a little bit after earnings. It'll be a week after earnings we get it. But yeah, wow. That's what I'm saying. If they bought back shares and there are 40 million shares and Cohen owns 15% of the company, and then he gets signed on S&P. I really don't know. I don't know. But is there anyone who would rather be short in this position? That's how you got to think about it. Like, you're insane to be short at this. How can you be short? I really don't understand. It's just so risky. It's just a risky position, and that should give you comfort as a long. When the other position looks like it's just crazy risky, and you're like, what is that? What are they thinking? That's how I kind of feel about this situation. Which obviously, people invested in GameStop probably in it for a longer term. I doubt longer term investors were trimming today. This may very well just be the start, but yeah, I don't know. Okay. Oh, the weekly. I wanted to check this. So the weekly, we're right in the same place. You know what I mean? Like, we're getting close. We're right there, and a couple more articles. Cohen buys a bit more. I mean, could they be making a move to buy out everything? I don't think so. But it's possible. So you don't want to rule that out. Remember, I didn't mention this on the stream, and I realized after one of the new members of the board is a Chewy CEO. I mentioned that in the tweet, but I missed it on the stream. We just didn't get to it. You know what I mean? I just had forgotten. Most people are focused on Reggie, myself included. But I mean, the Chewy CEO, excuse me, PetSmart CEO was on the board and applauded. I mean, everyone was happy to have. Was it Joe? I forget his name. What was his name? I forget the name. Happy to have him join the board, and then these two teamed up. So it could be something going on there. I have no idea what it is, and quite frankly, I don't really care right now. What doesn't matter? What matters right now is that our conviction in the stock, which is a benefit of having held it, in my case, for quite a while, and for many value investors' case for quite a while, because you understand what it's worth, and it's nice to have an update just because it means like maybe the market's paying attention, but you're not making any moves today. If anything, you're buying more because now it's not a recommendation, right? Obviously, you know that in the channel, but that would be the move if between the two, because there's not even a need to trim unless you're a day trader, which isn't what this stream is about, which isn't my investment style. Okay, so the weekly, it's not quite overbought on the weekly. Let's see what happens this week, though. It's nuts. Okay, what else? I feel like I put a lot of my stuff in the tweet. Did I have anything new? I guess not. 9%, 15%. I guess that's about it. What else is there to say? What's interesting about this? What's interesting about this is like not much has happened yet, right? It's an update. But you can see a little bit of people's commentary out there. It's still real early, but doesn't it kind of feel like it could be the start of sentiment shifting a bit? And I've even heard some people mention like it could be like maybe they're about to stage this major turnaround. Isn't that funny that we could even be talking about that right now when all that's changed is a single 13D filing? Well, now 13D filings, but it's bananas that a single 13D filing could start at least people talking about this other pathway. But that's the nature of GameStop, because it's such heavy sentiment and it's so undervalued that you just need people to just view it differently, and then it go boom, 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 boom. And then if he does get involved, and this isn't a forecast or anything like that, but if someone is in it to change things up over the long-term future, then you're getting into like a legitimate case for. It's too early to say this, but you're making a legitimate case for not just a cigar butt or a roach, right? Nothing like that. Nothing like these things, huh? What you're making a case for is a potential 5-bagger, 10-bagger down the line, because remember they bought back so many shares that even at $50, it's not a forecast. I'm not saying that that's a likely outcome at this stage, but $50 isn't even that crazy. $50 times 40 is a $2 billion market cap if they bought back shares. $2 billion, that's nothing. A $2 billion market cap for being the premier venue for a gaming experience, that ain't shit. It used to trade at like a $6-7 billion market cap, and it would make sense that it'd be a smaller company, but you know what I mean? Even $100 share price, if they bought back the shares, then you're at what, $4 billion? It's not crazy, but I'm not weighing that heavily right now. But when you're taking the weighted average probability of things, you at least need to take that into consideration. Same goes for on the downside, right? What's the likelihood of bankruptcy and this being a zero? It goes both ways. But with my point is with Cohen joining the board, it increases even if slightly, it increases the probability that a $50 share price or a $100 share price is actually going to happen. You know what I mean? Whereas last week, if you told me, I would have been like, well, highly, highly unlikely. Now I'm like, maybe it's just unlikely. Then that matters. That matters in security analysis. All right, what's up, Jordan? Cheers, mate. If a friend from Chewy is there on the board, I can't see how the... Jordan asks, if a friend from Chewy is there on the board, I can't see how the earnings miss. Why not wait then? Bullish. What happens to the naked shorts if Cohen makes a takeout offer? Yeah, okay, so... okay, this is interesting. Okay, so number one is then the first part. Then you kind of get an insider training like that to be sharing knowledge. That's he might not know what the earnings is going to be, but more importantly, remember we're only like 2 months out from the consoles, right? We're like 2 months out. It seems like it's already really late. It might not have anything to do with earnings. You know what I mean? But it's a fair point if. Yeah, why not wait for a sell-off? It's sold off every other time, but I think it has more to do with the proximity to the new consoles. That would be my guess. But it could be he wants to buy more. It could be that his goal is to buy more shares. You know what I mean? There's a lot of rationale that could go into that, and I lean more toward not making any opinion on that decision. But a good question to ask. And again, even if it doesn't result in our opinions changing or whatever, you ask these questions. These are good questions to just get you thinking about. Try to think outside the box. And I try to do this, and I'll go down paths. I'm like, no, that's not possible. But But I agree. But forget the timing of the earnings miss. Forget that part. But his Chewy friend's on the board. You know what I mean? Just getting involved is bullish. You know, it's big. And so it sounds like you're on the same page with that, right? He's clearly probably telegraphed to him, relayed to him, like, hey, heads up. You see these earnings readouts? You see these quarterly readouts, and you see we're on full. We got the bond exchange done. He probably made the comparison to Chewy. Look at how much similarities there are compared to what you did at Chewy. It's just a conversation, and then it piqued his attention, and yeah. So it's the timing. I'm not so sure, but I lean more toward he intends to buy more, but we'll see. We'll see. What was the other part? What happens to the naked shorts? I have no idea. I have no idea. Takeout offer isn't my base case. What history does he have of taking companies private? None, right? He started a company, so no history there. He bought Apple and Wells Fargo. It seems like if you read those articles, it's more like he's got like a stock picking style to him. Who's he going to buy it out for? RC Venture? Is he going to get a consortium? They're going to get together and buy it out? But if they do, first of all, what price would they buy it out at? And in my head, I've long thought that this is the end game for GameStop is a PE firm taking it private. Like I still kind of think that it kind of makes sense that it would be taken private. I don't think it's going to happen before the console refresh at this point. I think we're too close. But down the line, but regardless, to your point, if when it happens, the shorts are still high, I have no idea. Then isn't that when you get like a... I mean, I don't like making the comparison to that VW, but like, isn't that when if there's not enough shares to go around? I don't know. I'm out of my element there, but I do know, and I'm sure you would agree, Jordan. You'd rather be on the long side with that, right? Good luck. I wonder how many of them closed today, if any. Yeah, it's so high because of their because people are bearish on the because of the secular risks and stuff. But that could take time to change. I don't know. Let's keep an eye on the price. Okay. Is there anything else to say on this? I saw the Bloomberg, saw these. I don't think there was anything new in here. I tried to see if... Oh, here we go. Oh, this is the old one. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, I don't think there's anything new here. Okay, that's okay. All right, so we'll keep an eye on this. See if he keeps. But probably buy up to the 9.9%. That threshold. Once he breaches that threshold, he needs to manage his filings a little bit different. I think we'd start if he. Is it when he breaks above 9.9%? We'd start seeing his purchases. Oh no, open insiders down. No, sometimes this happens. I think we'd start seeing his purchases here. Not that that's a big deal, but I just mean and other things too. The timing of the filings and stuff that changes a bit. Okay. All right. So sick, huh? We saw the volume. I saw the price up today, but I was thinking like, all right, I'll do some research later. But I don't know if there's much to say. I saw some Seeking Alpha articles, not articles. There's some commentary and stuff. Oh. But nothing. I made some posts too. I compiled those tweets. But not much new. Yeah, what is there? We'll just wait for more information. Oh yeah, whenever you see different after-hour prices, like we see $6.99 here, we see $6.96 here. Even if I refresh, oh, that says $6.92. What's MarketWatch say? Oh, it couldn't be. Sometimes it's because I think like Yahoo Finance, I think they only do after-hours prices if it was a 100-share lot or more. Like if it was only a 50-share lot, I don't think it's reflected on Yahoo Finance. Boy, you'd have to think we're gonna. I mean, Breaking 7 today was big. I think a lot of people were watching that, right? Breaking 7 was big, just to break it, and now it's like, all right, but let's cleanly break it and then start moving. Then you'd have to think 10. You'd have to think 10 to 12. The next from the technical, of course, there's so many other factors, which made GameStop so compelling for me. But that's I imagine what technical analysts are keeping their eye on. So interesting. Could it happen quickly? Could you get there before earnings? Then it's a little bit squeezy. Today definitely felt a little bit squeezy, but only 20%, 25%. It's not crazy, but let's just keep watching. Thanks for chatting about my questions. I only see Big Short covering on buyback news, like you alluded to earlier. Great day, stay long. Thanks, Jordan. And I agree. What else? I don't see at this point what other catalysts are there. The big one for me is the share buybacks on the court. I don't see what else they could. I don't think the market's going to be wowed by sale leasebacks, although they might view them more positively because of this new sentiment change. But what else could wow people besides everyone be like, holy shit, we didn't realize that they would actually do that. That's the big one, and I can't think of anything else that would be bam, like overnight that it would just take everyone by storm. I don't, unless like major sale leaseback, like it was 200 million to 300 million, which is so highly unlikely. Or the other thing to keep an eye out for, there's the share buybacks on the earnings call, but also if Cohen does something, right? He's already bought more, which is why I think that we'll probably get some continued up room. So this is big. Like if it was a huge up though, like if he bought, I'm kind of surprised it's kind of small, but let's keep on watching. But if he bought like 20% of the company, that's hugely bullish. That could be a catalyst. We're like, all right, we're running out of shares. Maybe people start thinking he's going to make a bid for the company. So that's like number 2. But then number 3 is just him making the rounds. I don't think that's imminent, though. I think that would take some time. But if he starts making the rounds, starts going like on CNBC and be like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And it's hard to say, but that's going to have an impact. And then people start talking about it. And then you got the consoles. So it's one thing that I don't think is likely. But could you imagine if this was all part of the plan and management was kind of sandbagging stuff just a little bit, like the negative news and stuff, and now they're just going to pile on good news after good news, even though we can't, I don't feel like listing them all, but then in the market was just like, oh, they really are, like a vendor partnership. They teamed up with a vendor and some high margin partnership, blah, 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 all this stuff they've been talking about, but then they present like a firm plan, and they say, we're also going to touch base with Cohen, and he has some ideas, and blah, 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 and then September, October, November, and then everyone's already talking about the consoles anyway, and everyone's like, holy shit, we got GameStop wrong. Then, yeah, I don't know. So there could be other stuff on that. Like it could be a mix of things on the earnings call that just take everyone, like the collection of it wows people, but specifically it's the share repurchase for me. So I agree. And thanks to you, Jordan, too. Thanks, man. Yeah, what do you say? Stay long, too. Yeah, what does that do right now? If anything, the move is to buy. It's not a recommendation. How many times can I say that? But that's the move. And if the position wasn't so large for me right now, I didn't buy more in the Roaring Kitty portfolio today. But now it's for me, and everyone's got a different position on this. But for me, I'm like, all right, well, I hope it keeps running. But if it pulls back, then I will buy more. But now it's just a waiting game. It's like, all right, let's just chill. Let's just watch what happens. Let's just see what's happening here. A little bit exciting, right? Been waiting for so long. Everyone who's been invested. I mean, you saw one of my videos where I'm talking about you must have a beer with you. How is she gonna get through this position? It's been so crazy over the past year. So we'll see. But I mean, this isn't even a GameStop live stream, right? But shit, it's taken over, right? And for good reason. I'm looking forward to Wednesday's stream because we're gonna have more information. What unfolded over the past 2 days. And in particular, next Wednesday stream, too. We got to stream that day, right? They get the earnings call, and then... So that's going to be sick because it works out. Like Friday was perfect timing because I'm like, I legit have to do research right now. And today, we're kind of just reflecting a bit, just watching. But because I think it's so undervalued, I think it's like for me, is it like a strong buy right now? Maybe you want to wait for it to break out or something, but for me, this is a change from the technical analyst point of view. You know what I mean? So if you're a value investor, you're like, all right, you're done, let's go. I bought all my shares, that's it. Let's just sit back and wait. But that's not necessarily the best way to go about it. I think you keep buying on the way up, so long as it still looks undervalued and the thesis is unfolding as you've been hoping it does. You can buy all the way up so long as there's a sizable discount there. And I still think there's a sizable discount here. So again, the only reason I'm not a recommendation, the only reason I'm not, though, is just because the position's so big. But I legit, if it pulls back or if it goes to low sixes, I almost did it early this morning. But I was like, oh, I need more cash. My cash position, right? I almost pulled the trigger, but I'm like, hey, let's just wait. Let's just see what happens because this is the thing, right? It's all gravy, right? If it keeps on going up, terrific. That's the type of position I like to have where I'm like, I'm excited if it keeps going up, but if it pulls back, I'm ready to go because nothing's changed. So, but to me, I think this action is super bullish. Right? And then the break above 7. I just think the break above 7 is imminent now. The technical analysts are watching this and they're like, well, let's wait till it breaks above 7. But the value investors, we know that it's coming. It's coming. So in that light, it's highly likely it's coming, right? All right. In that light, it's like a strong buy. It's like it's almost because it's like a conviction buy right now, because the big issue with GameStop is there's so much uncertainty in the risks, and is it possible they could turn it around in this? They're not necessarily going to turn around, but for once, or for the first time in a while, it finally feels like, oh wow, they could. And isn't it funny? All that's changed is the 13D, and I'm saying the same thing, but he's the guy is viewed as a visionary. He is. Just read the articles. The articles are a bit ridiculous. Like ridiculous in that you don't see them often. I think I said that during the stream. You just don't see articles like that, but people really care because he had so much success. He clearly gets omni-channel and e-commerce and so forth. So, and like I said, I say on the stream and in my videos and stuff, there's a non-zero chance they pull this off. And it's still not necessarily likely, but it's way higher. It's way higher than I thought it was when I made all my videos. When I made my videos, I said non-zero chance. I was, as you can tell, I'm very careful. I try to be very careful to pick my words because I care about my analysis. I want it to be as best as it can be. I still make mistakes. In fact, I have some mistakes to report today. I was watching my portfolio. So I pick my words carefully, but it's a non-zero chance, right? But now, when a non-zero, I was like, it's maybe 5%, 10%, whatever it is. But now I think it's like doubled, tripled even. And all it is a 13D filing. But it's because I do think, because gaming is thriving in such a gigantic industry, and it's all the stuff I said in the video, the only major brick-and-mortar retailer dedicated to it. And if they build out their omnichannel experience, there's something there. And even if it's only 20% now or 30% chance, that's because there's tremendous upside if you can grow alongside the gaming industry. And that's what a lot of people, myself included, for a long time, I didn't value that possibility high enough. And because if that probability has doubled to 20% chance they pull this off, 25%, 30% chance, then that increases my weighted average valuation. You know what I mean? So it may have gone from, like, I don't know. And in that light, yes, that's what I mean. If I lean toward anything, I lean toward buying. So I can't trim myself. If for better or worse, I maybe look back on the stream and be like, what were you thinking? You know what I mean? You just got lucky, blah, blah, blah. As a value investor, you're in a perpetual state of introspection, especially an individual value investor, because this is why it's helpful to have support from other value investors, and especially rational, like people who are reasonable and have level-headed, because it gives you some like just mental support, you know? Hey, Devin Rice, new name. Started watching your videos a few weeks back, bought GME to it. Hey, all right. Cheers, Devin. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, good move up so far. We'll have to keep watching, and we'll see what happens from here. Yeah. So let's see. So we'll see. So maybe today we'll walk through, and I'll see if there's some ways I can raise some cash in the Rowan Kitty portfolio, right? I got some other accounts too that, but I didn't do anything today in any account. I was like, okay, let's just watch. Let's see what happens. Sometimes, cheers, mate. Let's just see what happens. It's always nice to have a new name. Cheers, Devin, huh? It's always good. So I always appreciate these questions. Thank you, everybody. You know, it like livens up the stream a bit. Like we're going to do the same stuff over. And I'm still trying to figure out what the hell this stream's going to be like. But right now, in Friday, GameStop Day. Who cares? Yeah, anyway, I always appreciate the questions. They result in good discussion, you know what I mean? And like sometimes you start thinking about things differently. That's why dialogue's good. And and I mentioned this in the video too. Like I'm legit, like I catch my blind spots. I have blind spots. I make mistakes. I have blind spots. Confirmation bias. I feel like I'm always worried about suffering from confirmation bias, especially with the Ryan Cohen stuff. I'm like all weekend, I'm like, this is crazy bullish. That's why I sent out all those tweets, you know? I'm like, I gotta share the research we did on Friday. I gotta get this out because I want people to call me out. It seems like mostly it's bullish folks who will respond to it, which is fine. But I'm always looking for the other side of stuff, and so far the other side of stuff I've seen so far is relatively weak in my opinion. And so yeah, I don't know. I ramble. I don't even know what I was talking about. Okay. Anything else? Yes, that's all. Where are we at? $6.99, huh? That sounds like a used game price. You know what I mean? Hey, how much GameStop today? $6.99. $6.99. Store credit only. Store credit. I saw one. I posted the No, I posted the video. Excuse me. I posted the video this weekend somewhere on Twitter. I'm losing track. I mean, I'm posting that video a lot, so I apologize to anyone who's following me on Twitter. It's all over the place. I apologize. I'm overdoing it, but just trying to share the research and stuff, right? And right now, it's the only damn video I got, which is kind of I didn't know stuff was going to happen so quickly. I thought I had a little bit more time. But I shared the video, and then someone said, this video makes me want to short GameStop. I was dying laughing. I thought that was so funny. Oh, I was like, yo, this video, I want to short GameStop when I watch this shit. Oh my God, I was dying laughing. Oh, so funny. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. Maybe it's... That's the thing, is that I talk about I'm worried I'm suffering from confirmation bias. But legit, if I'm suffering from confirmation bias, or if the video makes you want to short or something, this is the thing. I don't think many people who aren't long GameStop might join this stream right now, because who cares, right? But like I want them to join and be like, yo, Rory and Kitty, like, this is crazy. Like, here's why it's gonna fail, but I can't see anything. I don't like I'm only talking about the positive things or something like that. And I'm like, tell me the negative things. What is the negative thing about Ryan Cohen taking a 9% position? What's the negative thing? What is it? A bona fide question. I don't know what it is. But indeed, like I say, I'm always worried about something for confirmation bias. So if there is, or if I'm overly bullish, calling him a visionary, but how can you see these articles about him and not think that other people perceive him as such? Again, I didn't know him that well before Friday, so it's not like but you don't see articles about people like this. You just don't see. Do I still have it up? You don't see these interviews. I know he was doing a media run in June of last year. You just don't see this in these articles. Read these articles. How often do you see stuff like this? They're following his 2 investments in Apple and Wells Fargo. Sorry, just something caught my attention on the screen there. You just don't see it that often. So I'm interpreting how the media is kind of treating him, for better or worse. I have no idea. But in the way they're treating him is this guy knows his shit. He sold. You can't deny the fact that he sold the company. Went from 2011, 2017, sold for $3 billion or whatever it was. My analysis of him is on these streams. You can see it, and so if I'm misinterpreting something, it's out there, and you can tell me, like, hey, you're viewing this too bullishly. It ain't that bullish. And I'm like, all right, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with my analysis? Because I do make mistakes. I just can't see it sometimes. You know what I mean? And again, just because he's getting involved, this is important. When I talk about him being a visionary and stuff, that's important, not because it means GameStop's going to work. It's not because, now GameStop's definitely going to reinvent itself, right? I'm not saying that. You know I'm not saying that. I'm saying it has dramatically increased the chances that they could. And because, I know I keep on saying the same thing over again, but because the GameStop stock trades so cheaply, and because sentiment is so bearish, just that change in perception is hugely important. And that's just why it's important how other people perceive this guy. It just is. It just is important. And now I feel like I've made hopefully you get where I'm coming from on that front. Because it's important. Everything comes down to like weighted average valuation probabilities and stuff like that. Weighted average probabilities about future free cash flows and stuff like that. And mine just went way up for, I don't know. What else? Where are we at? Here I say it doesn't matter. I don't care about after hours price over. I'm more just curious. You know what I mean? But it's no volume. It's dumb. It's not dumb, but it's just for fun, just for shits and giggles. All right, so yeah, this was crazy to me. We watched that stuff on Friday and replaced pets with gaming and stuff. This chart looks good. And the fundamentals look good. All that's left is that psychology aspect. And really, here's the funny thing. And this is another reason I've changed my view on technical analysis is because this is all like success begets success. Once this price starts moving up, I don't care why it goes up. I care why it goes up, but once the price starts going up, it doesn't matter because it's like, the stock price is going up, and then the price is going up, and then people buy, and then they start viewing, it's buying because Cohen got involved. Oh wow, they're going to make a lot of cash flow here, and people just start perceiving it differently. And I think the charts can telegraph to you when that sentiment is starting to happen. And that's why I think when it breaks out above 7 here and like meaningful, like a clean break, like it's definitely moving up, then I think it's going to start being positive. This is reflexivity, right? If you've read the George Soros stuff, everyone knows about reflexivity. It's just it kind of moves up, like success begets success, and that's what happens. Is that One small thing, like nothing has changed. How much has changed with the GameStop thesis in the past 6 months? Nothing. Almost nothing. They did the bond exchange. That was huge. They didn't do any share report. Like nothing has changed. The only thing that has changed is we're closer to the console refresh, the passage of time, and Cohen, Cohen has filed a 13D. Nothing's changed, and yet, including myself, people were like, you know what, maybe they are actually going to pull this off. But the thesis itself, it remains almost totally unchanged. But it feels like we're getting close to, you know what, now that's psychological aspect. You got the fundamental case, and the technicals are almost right there, and then the sentiment changed, and then that's it. And even if think about all the fundamental research I've done, that you've done, how much time has passed, isn't this kind of a little bit frustrating? Well, like I was buying it back here, you know what I mean? And you could be buying it right here, and then nothing changed. It's only gotten better. The thesis has only gotten stronger. And we're closer to the consoles, and you could have just waited this out. You could have just waited it out. You know what I mean? Like, look, is this the weekly? It barely got above 50 on the RSI. Back then, you might have just been like, yeah, let's just wait. Let's just see what happens. And then it sells off. Then it never breaks above it. You're just waiting. And now then you could get involved here. And it's happening to coincide with this. It's seemingly happening to coincide with this change in sentiment. It's a little bit frustrating as a value investor, but I've just accepted that this kind of shit works at times. You know what I mean? We'll see. But what is okay? Now I'm going around just talking about. Now I'm talking about anything, huh? It's got this good beer. Just nice to have an update for a change. You know, even though one update, who gives a shit? No one cares, right? Who cares? Okay. So what the hell else happened today? You know what I mean? I actually really don't know what else happened today. I did see the market was down today, right? Oh, NASDAQ was up. Oh, what did Tesla do? Oh, was Tesla up big? I did see this, right? 12%. What is this? Is this the first day it was post-split? Did it split today, right? Oh, you know how I can tell? Watch this. If you do underscore, watch this. If you use stock charts, do underscore. Boom. See how the underscore adjusts it for share count. All right, so today's the first day. And so whatever. Everyone started piling in. Oh, this is a riot. Can't touch it. You can't. My only regret, and I've said this a number of times on the stream, is not buying it right here. Or buying it on the pullback, number one, but then buying it right here, and then buying it last year too. There's like been 3 or 4 solid opportunities to buy. I'm a value investor, right? GameStop's top position of the Roy Kitty portfolio, but you just heard me talk about technical analysis, right? Like, Tesla would not be a big heavy position for me because of the speculative nature of it. But strictly technical analysis speaking, damn, this was bullish. Damn, this failed breakdown, and then when it broke out right here, super bullish. Do I have the right? What was that? It was it. Oh, right, it's split adjusted. Oh, I saw $86. I'm like, what? I'm not used to the new price. Super bullish. And then I mentioned this on the stream, but when it went up and when it came back down, it merely retested during March and April with all this uncertainty. All it did was retest the previous resistance, which is now support. Boom, super bullish. And then when it broke out to new time highs back in June, boom, super bullish. Now, it's unfortunate I wasn't doing the stream. You're going to have to take my word for it. It matters that I didn't pull the trigger on it. And all I can say, it's because there's a lot of moving parts. I couldn't keep up with anything. You see how many positions I got in the portfolio. I was just having a tough time tracking everything. But, I just bought that Bitcoin. I mean, a small position in Bitcoin and stuff, but, or the trust, whatever the hell it is. So hopefully that shows you that I'm willing to pull the trigger on it. But look at this, 12% today. What the hell? What's the market cap? It's up after hours too. 464. What do you do with this? What the hell? The only thing you do is, I mean, there's not a recommendation right now. I can't touch this now. Because I talk about technical analysis. I need a special type of technical analysis type event to get my attention. This isn't for me, but day traders out there might be like, oh, you still got to buy this. But me, I would just wait on this. But the only thing you can do is watch this or buy at pullbacks, or you can short, but you need to wait for the right opportunity. The legit hasn't been an opportunity to short. Well, the only opportunity I can see to short Never broke down. It never. When could you have done it? There was never a good time. You needed it to break through. I mean, I don't know these. It was like 250 or something, right? Wasn't it 250 pre-split? And you need a clean from this is the technical analysts in me coming out, because this is how I don't. You can't. It's very difficult to short based on valuation. People have been short this whole time. It gets really frustrating. It's really difficult to time. So my approach to it, and I mentioned this, I plan on doing it more. I'm no shorting expert or anything like that, but I want to incorporate it more and more. And one of the things I've learned is that if you are going to incorporate it, you need to get the timing right. And it's actually a better short to short after it's fallen down more, which is like the opposite. This is why it's tough for value investors. It's the opposite of how you think. You buy when stock price goes down, you buy more and stuff like that. But this, you want it to be sure that it's going down because sentiment is so positive. People are excited about Tesla. You know what I mean? Like, people like the product and they're passionate about it. It gets really tough to short. I know it's easy for me to say now because of what's happened. So that's a fair critique. But for future reference, I'll mention this. Like, you need to short something like that. You really need you need it to be clear that things have turned south. And what's the best way to do that is besides technical analysis. If you have a better way, but you can't do it on valuation. I've seen it fail so many times, and this is going to be ultimately a classic example of it failing. People talk about, I don't want to go down this path on this stream, but I've heard it mentioned that there are big, huge fraud and stuff like that, Enron-esque, right? So that I would say is a better one than valuation, that there's something fishy in the accounting metrics. And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying anything like that, but I've heard it mentioned about the stock. And if that's the case, then I assume many people would view it as imminent, which this would probably have to be frustrating for those people, because if that were the case, and we won't know for 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. This is the thing, talk about reflexivity. Could Elon Musk will this to work out? Could he will this to work out because the stock price goes up, he attracts capital, then they can actually, I think I mentioned, did I mention that on the last stream? You could will it to, you could will it to work. And I said this about GameStop too. Yes, I definitely said it during the stream, because if GameStop, that stock price going up, and then Ryan Cohen makes the rounds and he's bidding up, you start attracting capital, and you can, whereas 3 months ago, a turnaround in GameStop would be like, non-zero chance, 2% chance, 5% chance. But then you start taking steps to change the narrative, the stock price going up, you kind of will it to happen this is why a management team caring, I've mentioned this on the stream too, a management team that cares is so important, because they effectively can keep prodding it and cause it to happen over time. And if you're short Tesla, not that we've never even mentioned Tesla. There's no position in Tesla on this stream. But like, if people were short Tesla, you'd have to be concerned about that. That's a risk that he might will it to happen. But I have no idea. 500 billion though. Oh, jeez. What do you do with this? I don't even know I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. I'm dialed into many companies. I'm not dialed into Tesla, but I assume it's a gigantic multiple to revenues. Right? I don't even want to look. Let me look. What's price to sales? 16 16 times sales. 16 times sales. It's probably not even the craziest one out there. What's one that would be crazy? I don't even know. What's another one? Oh, isn't like Nikola? Isn't that one? That's in the same. Oh, that's Zoom. Oh, did I just? Why does it do that? I hate when it does that. 104 times. There you go. Look at that. By accidental 104 times sales. So, it's up 23% after hours. Holy. Oh, they report. Oh. Good luck. Good luck shorting these companies on value. And I know it's just the nature of the current market. In a different market, it could be that these would work out. That's a fair point too. That it just depends on what type of market we're in as to what style's working, what style's not working. That's true. But that's what I think. You need to recognize what market you're in. What type of market are you in? And you're in a market where NASDAQ and tech is crushing it. And if you understand that, it takes time for it to be clear what type of market you're in. But it's been clear, right? I mean, it's been clear. Let's pull up 10 years or something. I mean, it's been clear. And you compare NASDAQ or the NASDAQ 100 to the S&P, it's been crushing it over 10 years, right? So this was the opportunity, and I said this before. If there was gonna be this rotation out of tech stock, that was it, and we just missed it. And it didn't happen. So you got to buy. You have to buy that, because that was the backdrop. The backdrop was tech is crushing it, partially for potentially good reason to voice no opinion on whether these are justifiable. It seems stretched, doesn't it? These sheer numbers of them. But just recognize what type of market you're in, and when it doesn't happen, whenever you think it could happen, that was super bullish. So I thought, you see it with the Nasdaq here, but I actually thought it with the market as a whole too. Like, all right, this is the opportunity for value, for everything to happen. And when it didn't happen, I got super bullish in March and April. Super bullish. I bought everything. You know this. I mentioned on the stream and the videos and stuff. I deployed everything. I'm like, this is the valuations and stuff too, but it didn't happen. So, new question from Jordan. What's up, Jordan? Let's see. If GME was valued like Tesla on revenue, oh, I like the start of this question. Oh, this is my type of question. Let's do it. GameStop is a $10,000 stock. These are polar opposites. Great to talk about on the stream. Can't do anything here on Tesla. All Elon loves. Sentiment matters. Yes, spot on. I agree, Jordan. And we can say this. We can say this without having a position on the stock, right? We can just say sentiment matters, price matters. It may not be it's not the only thing same thing with value, right? It's not the only thing that matters. This other stuff matters. But you can't disregard it and that type of stuff. Boy, if GameStop is I can't even entertain. Can you? Is it 10,000? Is it 106? 106 times? I can't even. I'll take your word for it. You need a good story. This is the thing. This is why narrative is important. You said sentiment is important, and similarly, a corollary to that is narrative matters, right? What the narrative is. It's really difficult for GameStop to adopt, or for it to be perceived in a similar light as Tesla, because Tesla has this major long-term narrative of it's the auto company of the future, right? It's going to be it. It's going to be the dominant player in this industry. It's going to be a whole different type of auto market. Oil, we're done with oil, blah, blah, blah. That's a super compelling narrative. Just like I'm not saying Tesla's a bubble, but it's very similar to what the tech bubble was. That tech bubble, late 90s, that is a super compelling, really compelling thesis where internet's going to change the world. It's going to change distribution. It's going to change how companies interact. And that was all true. And just like there's probably some truth to this Tesla narrative, but what's difficult, and this is what the tech bubble was all about, was like there's only going to be a handful of players that actually succeed. And you need to, Amazon was one of them. And most of them weren't. And that's where you saw crazy prices. But like there's always, these are the best bubbles. And again, I'm not saying that the best bubbles have really compelling narratives to them. And Tesla is so compelling, it's really hard for me to envision GameStop having such a compelling narrative that it could be traded. I know we're just having fun. That we're just having 10. Now, boy, when you say that, Jordan, now you have me thinking. When you say it like that, then I'm like, shit, that is a crazy valuation. You know what I mean? When you like put stuff in perspective, when you like make some comparisons like that, it's good to do because it gives you some context. Like, that's ridiculous that I could even think that GameStop could trade that high. And I'm like, shit. But that comes down to the story behind it. But that said, maybe the Tesla multiple is much too high. But a multiple, this is the thing, and this is what maybe I hope to get across in my videos, is that GameStop, at the very least, had and still has a potential for a really compelling narrative, doesn't it? This is the thing, is that even though it won't be as crazy as Tesla, it's not as crazy as the internet or anything like that, but geez, I mean, gaming is like crushing it, right? And I could envision, and this is what I was really trying hard to get across in the videos, is that it has the potential. A lot of brick and mortar stores out there, there's no potential. There's no imminent catalyst by way of a new refresh of whatever product it's selling. There's no new experiential type thing. Maybe, right? But nothing as compelling, nothing that has as compelling a backdrop as gaming, right? Is there anything out there that's exciting as that? I don't, if there is, let me know. But nothing I can think of. And this is what I mean, is so GameStop, maybe not a crazy Tesla multiple, but a crazy multiple, right? And potentially deservingly so. This is what I say, some of these multiples, I have no idea, but they're grounded in some element of truth. And that could be the case with GameStop. It's going to take some effort to get there. Some of the right, like a week ago, I never crossed my mind that it could be Ryan Cohen of Chewy who could instigate this. But it doesn't matter. There's any number. There's I don't want to say countless. There's a ton of different ways that could catalyze a change in perception. It just so happened that Cohen is one of them. And so then I'm like, all right, so then get that narrative going, and then forget. Then like, yeah, it could. It's hard. Yeah. Yeah, you could see it. I'm thinking. You could see it definitely trading at but I think what happens is its base, it's a brick and mortar retailer, so it's tough to overcome that. Even though that could be a benefit, you know what I mean, to have that. I mean, even Amazon's buying up brick and mortar stores, right? Even though, but it really takes some time, takes some effort and some time for it to evolve like that. That's why it wouldn't be tied to a short squeeze. You really need to evolve for it to be a really truly different type of business model. But right now, that brick and mortar aspect and the secular risk really weighs on it. But looking out 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, what if it can start growing with that thing? Then yeah, you could see it trade at a multiple. That's the important thing. Gaming, I think we'd all agree, the narrative for gaming generally, awesome, right? So that's the thing. GameStop needs to tie itself to that. It needs to tie itself to gaming, to the broad industry. It needs to latch on by some way and say, hey, this is going to be the business model. We can grow with the gaming industry. I don't know what exactly that is, right? This is where everyone's butting heads on stuff because I don't know precisely what it looks like. But if they succeeded and they say we're going to successfully grow along, we're going to be the go-to player. People are going to want to shop at GameStop. We're going to be it. Then there you go. Then there's your multiple. Then there's your you deserve to trade at a higher multiple and all the not a crazy multiple, but like you can see people being like, wow, they really do. They really are the future. They're going to be. People are going to want to go there. They'll want to get together. They want to go and live stream and stuff like that. That's why I always think it's funny how like people like laughing at the GameStop longs like it's crazy. It's not crazy. It's maybe not necessarily likely, but can you not entertain the narrative? And this is what Jordan's getting at is like you can entertain the narrative, can't you? You can think about it, right? But people can't. They're like get in their own way. They're like it's so important to keep an open mind about this stuff yeah, so I can envision them pulling something off and becoming it. Whereas other people, and again, it doesn't even need to be likely. It doesn't even need to be a 70% chance, an 80% chance. And I think a lot of people, I don't know, it just seems when I read about people like comments and stuff like that, it kind of seems like people struggle with that. That they don't look under the hood. You know what I mean? They kind of like, I get the gist. I get the gist of the narrative, and then they kind of move on. But it's like, just open the hood, take a peek around, watch the Roaring Kitty videos, read Barry's letters. You know what I mean? Like, just and I think people, and I'm guilty of this too at times, where you kind of just shoot from the hip and be like, I get it, I get the narrative, but I don't know, we'll see. And maybe the shorts will be right. I don't. You got to keep an open mind. Maybe we're wrong, right? I try to keep an open mind about that shit too. Boy, $10,000 stock. So this is. It's not crazy. It's not a $50 stock or $100 stock or even $200 stock. I think it's highly unlikely that would happen anytime soon. Maybe in a crazy short squeeze, right? You could hit 50 or 100, but you can't bet on that. I'm not betting on that. You can't bet on something like that. So that aside, forget the short squeeze for a moment. But like, I can see $50 and $100. It gets tough above 100, like $5 billion market cap or something like that. But or 4 or 5 billion. Like it's hard for me to see that right now. You can always change your valuation as things unfold. You're welcome. I'm welcome. You can change your valuation. Who cares? You can change your valuation as the facts change. You can change your thesis. Who said that? Yeah, some famous person back in the day. When the facts change, I changed my mind. But right now, I can see $50 and $100. So, and I don't know what that multiple would be today. Well, we could pencil through it, but like seems totally reasonable to me. I'm like, yeah, I got $2 billion. That's not crazy. Or $4 billion or whatever it is. That's right. The share repurchases are real important because they could buy back a third of shares. When I talk about these market caps, I'm thinking in my mind that they did the share repurchase. I don't think that they did it, but I sure wish they did because the opportunity, right? That opportunity. Oh, man. Like I get they were being cautious and stuff, but the opportunity to do it at discount prices was ephemeral. It's temporary. Yeah, they knew this too. They're no idiots. Oh, we're at a 6-month high. What is this? 6 month? There you go, 6-month high. Ooh, that looks good. Who looks at 6-month chart? Anyone look at 6-month charts? Apparently, I do. What is it? It must be a default chart. Oh, I do, right there. There you go. Oh, I didn't know that. 6-month bull. Yeah, okay. And then it was a 1-year high. Oh, it's right there. It's right there. Here we go. It's more overbought this time. Bullish, undeniably bullish. Isn't that nice? It's taken 12 damn months. Taking forever, but we're finally at that point. We're like, hey, all right, that's like, we're close. We're close. What are we at? $6.99 again. Hey, 7. Shots. Cool. Okay. Hey, that was good to see. Hey, good. Thanks, Jordan. Talk about, geez, what if can we talk about GameStop being $10,000 a value by end of year? Huh? Is that possible? Shit. How about 50 by end of year? Huh? No, I can't. But down the line, totally possible. All right, let's. There's no new filings, right? What if someone else files? I'm on a GameStop kick right now. What time is it? 8? We talked for 90 minutes on GameStop. Have we been talking for an hour? Oh, sick. It's becoming a GameStop stream. What was I just gonna say? Oh, what if someone else? What if Burry bought more or something like that? Like there's a catalyst no one's really talking about, myself included, because it's not that big of a deal. But what if they like by the de facto cornering the market, not by deliberate planning or anything like that, but if everyone just Carl Icahn gets involved, you know what I mean? Unlikely, but with so many weird things, I mentioned that in one of the videos too. So many weird things with this, you need to entertain these possibilities. I mean, Cohen getting involved is, but now he's the biggest position, so he kind of drives things a bit. Now it would be tough to get involved too. How are you going to buy shares in bulk if you wanted to get involved? You'd think Burry could, but what does Burry care? It's already his top stock position. But we know he cared. We know he's bullish on it. I was surprised he didn't buy back more already. I was surprised, but again, he's already got a good sized position, and but he made a ton of money on those calls. You can. I suspect he bought a ton of calls, which is the great move on super liquid stocks, and he just crushed it. It was awesome, and he probably has a good amount of capital, so it's like, all right, maybe he'll buy some more, but unlikely. Test and permit are probably done. Really, the only one is Carl Icahn, and I only say that because his involvement with Blockbuster. But at the same time, I'm like, he's not going down that path again. But can you imagine? Holy shit! You want to add that to the list of short squeeze catalysts, because Carl Icahn, he'll buy the whole damn thing. I want to see Carl Icahn buy all these shares, go on CNBC and start yelling at everybody like, these bears, these sons of. It just goes off on a rant. I can entertain that idea, right? Carl don't give a shit. Hey, Jiang, I'm surprised people still trying to short GME after call. Well, we don't know. So thanks for the comment. We don't know if they are, right? Are people? I don't know. I'm not sure where yours. Like, we won't know. That's it. Maybe people have updated data day to day, right? I don't know. Maybe they have updated data. If you have a Bloomberg terminal, is that updated daily? I don't think so, because I think this is routed through FINRA, in which case it gets updated every 2 weeks. So we won't really get the updated short figures from that until mid-September. But what you might be able to see at your brokerage house is, don't they have the how many shares are left outstanding? I think you can see that, and then maybe what the rate, what the interest rate is to short the stock, to borrow and short. So you might see that. But other than that, there's nothing that I don't know if people are shorting right now. I will say it kind of looks like this pullback here is pretty. It has nothing. It's not necessarily to do with the shorts, but it's just you could envision people like, short this. This is a good time to short, because this is a good time to short. Look at this, $7. That's where you short. You short when it reaches back up there. I think that they're going to be wrong about this, but it's a good time, technically speaking. And it's important to remember, a lot of these technical analysts, they don't give a shit about the fundamentals. They don't care. It doesn't matter what you and I are seeing or all this other stuff. Some of them are just like like computer programs, just like short. This is where you short because the odds are in our favor, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what percentage of the volume that is, but it exists. So some of this might have just been naturally happening, but I think it's finally at the point where I think this is the wrong trade. Whereas here, I know it's hindsight, whereas this was probably the right trade. This was kind of the right trade because there wasn't much happening fundamentally here. It was just Burry getting involved, but really wasn't anything much happening. I guess you could make the case the same thing right now, but we're so close to the consoles. They did the bond exchange since then. They did the sale leaseback, or we're pretty sure that they did. That I think shorting this is the mistake, but maybe you're right. We just won't see for a bit. Jordan, filing blackout for management. Interesting that he is buying now. Cohen is a perfect fit here for GME. High valuation, would need to find a way to participate in digital sales. Unknown if possible. Yes. So the blackout period. So one thing though, they get the blackout period, but they're not buying much anyway. They haven't popped much. Sherman owns a good chunk though. Doesn't he own like 2 million shares? Like, that's not a bad chunk. But they haven't been big buyers. This has all been so small in the grant. It's down. Oh, open insider's down. No! Shut down the stream. What can we do if we don't have insider buying? You think it's interesting, Jordan? You think it's interesting that he's buying during the blackout period? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I think it has more to do. Maybe I mean your point about the proximity to earnings could be. I think it has more to do with proximity to the refresh. But if they come out with, I'll tell you what, Jordan. If they come out with if they come out with earnings and they crush it, I'll think maybe you're onto something that I mean like undeniably, objectively. No, that's not true. Because even if it's just not bad, you know what I mean. Even if it's just not bad, you still need to get in to get no. Because you'd want it to be. You could always get in September or October. Part of the thing with the GameStop too is, sorry, a little bit of a tangent here, is that because of all the craziness in the market this year, as compelling as GameStop has been, and yes, they've had to get through some humps here. Because of the craziness of the market, most people justifiably were like, I'm not touching GameStop. The console, like so many people have been playing this, partially me as well. Like they're going to get a sentiment boost at the very least from the console refresh, and that's going to happen in September, October, November. More people talking about they actually come out, and it's not so much about the cash flows because we're a couple quarters out from that, years out from actually generating the free cash flows. It's more about the narrative. But I think a lot of people have been like, I'm not touching that. Who cares? There's so much other cheap stuff here, and that was a good point, myself included. I wasn't buying much GameStop in March and April. It was already a big position. I saw everything else cheap. That's a great opportunity to divert. You buy the other cheap shit. And so I think a lot of people were like, I'm not dealing with that. Like, forget it. It's got the secular risk anyway, and there's so much stuff happening. There's other cheap stuff. So I think people waited. And they said, I'll get involved. I'll get involved when they're closer to the consoles. I don't know if this is true, right? But I was thinking this, that maybe the people will get more involved as we get closer to. And I bring this up because maybe... that's partially what Cohen's doing too. He was just wanting to wait till he was close to November, and then it gets really tight though. Then it's September and October. Then you're right there, and maybe you wanted to get in before pre-order stuff. And we don't have prices yet on the consoles. I don't think so. I don't think we have that yet. So maybe you just wanted to get in for that. But yeah, I guess we'll be curious to see if they buy after the buy. I'm not even totally convinced. There's a blackout period, but if you file a 10b5-1. You can get out of it. Like if you file, like you have 10b5-1 means you're systematically trading in and out of the stock based on blah, blah, blah. You can get around blackout periods. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not an expert on that. And for some reason, I thought they had one last year because it looked like they bought. No, that was more for buying back shares. Excuse me. Maybe that's. No, because individuals can file a 10b5-1 too, I think. It doesn't. It's not that important. But I agree. Cohen is a perfect fit. He does seem like a perfect fit. High valuation. We need to find a way to participate. Yeah. So they need to find a way to participate in digital. So I agree. So that's what I mean. Couldn't that be an announcement where they start talking about a partner where they're going to participate in the console, the new consoles by way of some new digital sale initiative. You know what I mean? I have no idea, but that could. I don't know how compelling that would be, but I agree with you. It's necessary. They got to do that. Unknown if possible, right? Or unknown if likely, right? But possible. And sometimes what's possible and what's probable, that's all you got to think through. That's why sometimes I'll read people's research and I get disappointed that they didn't even consider what's possible. You know what I mean? Like, and then let's argue about what's probable. Let's talk about the probabilities and stuff, but get a whiteboard and start listing everything that's possible, and let's start talking through everything. And I'll tell you what, Cohen specifically, taking a position and potentially changing the narrative, I didn't even know the guy. You know what I mean? Like, so then you still get, well, it wouldn't be a black swan in this case, it'd be a white swan, or a white knight. It'd be a white knight in this case. So you still get surprised. You can't go through everything, but you just do your best. Yeah. Big GameStop day, huh? All right, what are we at? 7. All right. Oh, it's 7:59. I think it ends at 7:59. Okay. All right. I'm gonna get going. But if you got other questions to derail in a good way the stream, feel free. But I legit don't even know what happened today, except for a couple of things like Latin. Like this thing, these were up on Friday or a bit. So let me just check these real quick. Not much noise. Nothing happening. So that was Latin 40 in Brazil, like emerging markets a little bit. Noise. Okay, just pull them back a little bit. Nothing really. Coffee? Oh, I don't think I've pulled that one up recently, huh? Oh, that looked good. Probably some, I don't know any coffee players though, so I don't deal in futures, so I don't think it's Starbucks, right? You do Starbucks. Although this would be a negative for Starbucks, right? Because coffee prices are rising, but that's too, I'm not going down that path. Coco. All right, so yeah, E&P was down. So, so no noise though, right? It doesn't matter. This 3% is noise. It doesn't matter. See, same chart. There's nothing to report here. Was Coco up today? I don't know. I better stock up on my candy bars while I can. Now, so natural gas is still up. So that's going to be what I'm going to get to here. What else was happening today? Innovation, yeah, just some tech stuff. So you're going to see, I do want to see, what are the indexes doing here? So, geez, the indices, 3,500? 3,500 flat? Sure, it's kind of cool. Pretty much flat today. So what was tech doing? We saw Tesla, huh? What's Tesla in? Tesla's in S&P, right? Dow and NASDAQ. All right, we see, there was noise though. It's kind of, things a little bit all over the place, huh? Tech up a little bit, down S&P, but kind of nothing happening. All right. Okay, so what happened over here? So nothing on the value front. I did notice the portfolio had some ups and some downs, but nothing really happening. Biotech was up. What's it doing again? It's kind of been struggling a little bit, hasn't it? It's kind of just been bobbing around, not much happening. Oh, it's up today. It's a little bit of a gap up. Oh, it's kind of a little tad bullish. I'm not a day trader, but that looks kind of bullish. It's been kind of doing nothing. You see what I mean? Since June? Something to keep an eye on. It's still not breaking out of anything, but all right, maybe biotech's turning. I got a couple of biotechs in there in the portfolio, I think. And but flat, nothing happened. It's summer. No one's around. It's Labor Day weekend. We're going to Labor Day weekend. No one's around right now. You can't read into this stuff too much. Alcoa, but 3% moves. Home builders 3%. Not much. Okay, let's check the portfolio. So this is where I think. What do we sort about? Oh, GameStop 20% of the portfolio. I updated this of the Roaring Kitty portfolio, right? Hey, RFP down 70%. Is it finally going to let me buy back some more? Damn, huh? Son of a... Nothing much, really. New gold. Oh, sorry, I'm going to go back. I hate to scroll. Oh, let me just do this. Let me just see. I just want to see what was gold and silver doing today. Nothing. 1974. See, I don't even need to pull up the chart anymore. This is good. I mean, I already know. Who cares? So 1978. What does it matter? In silver 28. Okay. It's hanging in there. These are a little bit, a tad bullish on the very short-term stuff. Not that I'm playing that, but you can see it's kind of like turning up a little bit there. That looks bullish on a very short-term type stuff, huh? I'm not going to do anything with it, but looks a tad bullish. See, it's coming back down to the 50. These are the dailies, though. Weekly, we're not even going to see anything. Who cares? Oh, this looks bullish. It's still overbought on the weekly. Damn. Bullish for silver. Okay. All right, so new gold, but still just popping around here. So here's the thing. So Antero was down, and I saw RRC. So this is what I wish I did. This doesn't look that great. I did that rotation from RRC into AR, and I wish I just trimmed some of RRC. Just waited a little bit for a pullback. Remember, this looked kind of bearish. So this is AR. AR was holding up pretty good, right up until today. And then I'm like, I didn't trim, but I was so close. And look at the daily here. Just the daily. It's not the weekly. The weekly still is okay. The trend still looks totally intact. Nothing to be concerned about. But particularly in the daily, this is what I mean. This is what I'll use the charts for, like for timing at times. So you see, it's like overbought, and then not quite as overbought. Then it came back down to the 50, and now it's looking. And then same thing for RSC. The RSC has been crushing it, right? So when this was looking kind of bearish too, super overbought, a little less overbought, and then coming back, I'm like, I should maybe trim. So then that's when I was selling out. And I wish I just trimmed a little bit and just waited. This is why patience is so valuable. It's so valuable. And it's such a valuable edge for individual investors that you don't have that career risk of having to perform every quarter. And so I feel like I wish I just trimmed. And I have so much exposure. It's fine. I'm still, again, long-term trend still intact. But these little small timings, I'm trying to be better about them. And we'll see what happens tomorrow, but this looks like I should have just waited a little bit before I made that switch. Oh, RSC still holding up good. I mean, I still think this is good. The question is it gonna? I got some options too. Is it gonna happen this year? We're getting close. I don't know. Oh, it's a $2 billion market cap. Sick. Oh, PBF pulling back too. Damn. See, these are kind of 8% moves. But still, nothing. See what I mean? Nothing's happening. It's no big deal. And I didn't add. I remember we were waiting to add. We're like, this is bullish because there's nothing really happening. But it's maybe a good time to add. But there's nothing happening. I'm satisfied with where it is. What is it, number 10? Whatever. What else we got? Fossil up 5%. Bullish, huh? It's not gonna pull back. When did we review it? Oh, you know what? Oh, you know what? Do I have my notes here? Where's my notes? There. Wherever I mentioned Fossil. Dig into Fossil more. Looks compelling sub 4, right? Which it wasn't sub. So that was August 24th. Oh, these notes are great. Yeah, see, we were hoping for a little bit of a pullback there. But then I realized, I was going through the portfolio, I'm like, shit, it's not a bad size. I mean, it's a good size position I got already. You know what I mean? It's number 22. It's at 0.8% right now. This is after the run-up, but I was kind of happy about that. Here I am, like, I wish I'd pull back, but this ain't bad. It's number 22. Nice job, Fossil. So, I'm interested in it, but maybe it could add. This looks kind of bullish, doesn't it? Could we add? Could our rationale be because it's starting to break out a little bit? Maybe. This looks kind of bullish. So this is the thing. You may have your core position, and then this is just a potential style, not a recommendation. But like, you build your core position over time. This is what I do. What am I saying? I'm just saying this is a way to approach positions. You build your core position over time, average it in. It's the only way to do it. You go crazy trying to time stuff. Unless it's like March and April and everything's looking cheap, then you just like bam, 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 because you know you're getting a discount price. Like obviously discount prices, right? Sometimes it's not always obvious discount prices, but when the market's selling off, that's when you know you're getting a good price. It's terrific. It's the best time to buy. But so you build your core position over time, averaging in, maybe trying to time pullbacks a little bit. But then, like when the trend is just turning, and then you might start buying on the way up. Legit on the way up, like above what your average cost basis, where you're buying on the way up, but you treat that position a little bit differently, right? So you might buy not in a pullback or something, although I need to do, as a value investor, I have to buy in the pullback. It messes with me if I buy on, like if I bought today, or maybe something like this I could do. But and then what you can do is you just got to make sure for that particular position, that lot, if you will, however you want to handle it, you might just say, okay, I'm going to buy this position, and this is a momentum type aspect of the position, and I wanted to. This is on here not because the stock price was super cheap, because I wanted to make a little bit extra on the way up. And in your mind, you know that this is, you layered it on, and so that's how you're going to treat it. So you just toss on a stop loss, and just that lot, no big deal. And then this is what I want to get better about too. I have so many positions in the portfolio, it's difficult for me to implement, but this is what I want to get to as I get the fewer and fewer positions, and I'm trying to actually be better about it. You layer it on, toss it on there, stop loss, boom, you're done. And I think that's a good strategy. It's something, yeah, like I said, I want to implement more. And then maybe here I put the stop loss at like, you could do, if you want it to be really tight, for a deep value investor though, it's real hard to have tight stop losses because the stocks I'm dealing in or we're dealing in are just so volatile. They're all over the place. Boom, 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 boom. The damn stop losses get executed every damn day. You've heard me mention on the stream, I have stop losses executed. I forget about it, and I lose the damn position. And I find out later, I'm like, where is it? So it doesn't happen often, but it's happened. Enough that we can laugh about it, So you toss a stop loss on there. I'd probably toss one on here at like $5 or something, or the round numbers. I buy into that too. That maybe $5.50. Put it at like $5.25 or something, or maybe $4.75. You'd get a real loss, but at least if you're wrong, you're not like huge. If it comes back to 3, you're not kicking yourself for adding that because you got stopped out. So you got like a 10% loss or a 20% loss or whatever it is. It's a way for you to keep your sanity. Same thing on the other side too. You can put a buy order in, a limit buy order in. I need to do more of that, but same issues as before. So I'm just tracking too much. But you put a buy order. I should put a buy order in right now, and just say, hey, buy Fossil if it pulls back below 4. If we've done thorough research and we're convinced it's a good position, it makes sense in the portfolio, put the buy order in. Then just keep on moving. You don't waste your time thinking about this stuff. And I'm telling this to you because I'm trying to tell myself to do. Like I should make a note. Treat different positions differently. Yeah, that's a really insightful comment. Really, I'm really gonna remember what this means. Treat different positions differently. We'll say lots. Then I'll remember. Shit, that's funny. All right. Again, there's not going to be much. There's not even, no matter what's happening today, there's not going to be much to take away. UFI is down $12, nothing to pay attention to. Oh, I think I remember I talked about buying a little bit more ASPS. I think I did that. Oh, you see, it was up today. It was up 6% today. Just a small. I just added a little bit. Look, this looked good, doesn't it? So I put a little bit more on there. Not crazy. Look at it. So here's what caught my eye is big sell off, right? This is the daily. It never even got close to being oversold. It nowhere close to where it was oversold back then. I mean, a lot of stuff was crazy, and it was just overbought, and then it pulled back, and it didn't get oversold, and now it's pulling back. I'm like, this is bullish. Plus the fundamental analysis we did. Where is that? Was it last week? Oh shit! It was 2 weeks ago. Add to ASPS. Learn more about relationship with. Yeah, there you go. When was that? August 19th. I don't even remember what I forget. I kind of remember what we were uncovering there, but I'm like, yeah, all right, that's good enough. And then now we gave it more time, all right. And then now this even looks a little bit compelling. Some people do this. You ever see? I don't know. I don't do this too much. But you could do a line right on the on the RSI type thing. Yeah, just break it out right there. I don't really do that. I just do it for fun. I put no stock in that, right? This just things I look at. Just always a test. Always a test. All right, so I did do that. I think I might have done that. When did I do that? Today? What's OLN doing? Hanging in there at 11. Yeah. TG. Oh, this is. I'm glad I didn't trim. Oh, this is sick. Hey, thank you for the like. All right, sick. Thanks for the like. All right, look at this. This looks great, huh? Oh, I didn't trim shit yet. I wish it were more, but that's the thing. Did I ever add to it? Maybe I trimmed a tad. I don't remember. This looks great. Copper. So what's copper doing? Oh, back above 3. Oh, this looks good, huh? What was we're teching all them up today? No, they were down a little bit. Maybe they announced. Did they announce or something? That looks like a good chart. Damn, if I was gonna add to it, I should have done it already. But it's like super speculative. It's they got the copper mines up in Canada. You know what I'll do? Let's just see if they did any insider buying. Let's do that. Open insiders down, but Canadian, I bet they're up. Sick. Teseko? I don't even know how to pronounce it. Teseko? All right, let's see what we got. Come on. They bought a couple of times, I think. Disposition. Oh, it's off. It's nothing. Acquisition. It's so small though. $8,000 or something. That's nothing. All right, so nothing. No problem. Man, that's gonna be. I think it's like a 5-bagger. I bought it low 20s, and it looks so clean. I'm like, I can't trim this. See what I mean? It was the right. Maybe if I did trim, it's just because I was doing it to a whole bunch of positions. But I don't think I did because it was such a small position. I'm like, oh, that could still be another. Maybe it was like around here, and I'm like, that could still be a 5-bagger. Check this. Back out. There you go, 250. It was like up 250. Now there's more to this, right? I mean, this is just the chart, but. The even book value, I want to say, I remember thinking it's probably like $1.50 to $2.50 or something like that. And then if people are bullish on metals, I mean gold and silver, right, starting to pick up. We said how silver was looking a little bit bullish, and then how about if we back out on copper? This looks bullish. Look at this. This looks. Oh shit. What is this, daily? Look at this. That's a 1-year high. All right, so I was super overbought right here in July. Then I pulled back to the 50. Really healthy pullback, but you need to pick up. How about on the weekly? Starting to get overbought. Oh, this looks good. It's risky though. All right, let's pull up the fundamentals. That's the thing, but the Canadian ones, I don't think I'm gonna have data beyond December 31st, right? I always see that. All right, shit. All right, watch this. Let's just pull. I just want to check the damn balance sheet. They didn't even report anything today. They're just following copper. Right, they're just following copper prices. And what was FCX doing today? And what's that chart look like? Oh, it's breaking out too. It's down. It's down from the close. It's down from where it opened. But shit. Okay. Kind of bullish for industrial type shit, right? And value stocks. Dr. Copper, right? I don't know. All right, did I get TGB? Sorry, let me close out of some stuff. Well, I had a lot of tabs open. Whew. All right, let's just check. Did it pull up? Come on. That's ad hoc. Shit. Ah, shit, is it not working? Oh, there it is. Let's check. Come on, please. I think it's only going to be December 31st. Ah, what's going on? Ah, spreadsheet madness. Spreadsheet madness. No! Damn. All right, give it a couple times. In the meantime, let's go pull up the balance sheet. So there was only, it's up today because of copper. It's pretty clearly tracking copper. Look at this. So copper looks, it's following copper. Look at this. There's copper. Boom, boom, boom. Really nice and clean. And that's what TGB's doing. So it's a copper play. There you go. Oh, that was nice. Still looks good. I don't know if it just depends on the balance sheet. Get out your trusty calculator. Q2. Give me a strong. Okay, what is it? August 5th. We don't need to read this. See, so different plays. Talk about treating different plays different. We talk about from a technical analyst standpoint, but same thing for TGB. Like my analysis of GameStop, right? So I try to go super thorough. I'm digging into everything, and there's like a handful of stocks I do that for every year or so. But like a play like this ain't no play where I'm gonna pick apart conference calls and stuff like that. This was a play on. It was trading super cheap relative to his balance sheet, and everything was telling off. It's a copper play, so if copper moves. And that's the play. What am I gonna read their earnings release? Like there are some people who can do supply and demand analysis and stuff like that. And I think I mentioned this in one of the videos. But what the hell do I know about that, right? I'd lean on just copper price. I'd lean on copper price. I can't be getting into supply and demand stuff. And then you start it's like false confidence and stuff. I know the play. This is why it's not a huge position because I'm like that's the position. Go 4x, go 5x, and be happy with it. And that's what I got. And now it's kind of just like now I'm finally diving into the company. I owned the company a while back, and so I kind of bought it. I kind of bought it sight unseen without looking deep into it. I probably pulled up the balance sheet, I'm sure, just to make sure it wasn't going bankrupt or something. And but I haven't looked at it since. And see, and you might think, I feel like this is, and then you read books and stuff like that, and they're like, oh, you better know everything inside and out and everything stood out. And yeah, I agree with that for the high conviction plays, but not every play. Maybe people say that. I don't know. I haven't read any books about people who talk like that. Just understand what the play is. And this, but look, it was like it's a good thing. I bought it for very simple reasons, and I haven't paid attention to it. It's a damn 5-bagger. It's a 4-bagger, 5-bagger, and so there are times where it's a benefit to just be laissez-faire, just like all right, that's it. Good luck. Go do your thing. Go do your thing. And it works against you too. That's not like, hey, that's how you should always do everything. But some trades, yeah, that's all you got to do. And just wait and then revisit it. Be like, all right, it's time to revisit it. Do I got to make some decision here? So anyway, I'm not even going to read this. I don't care. Maybe I'm curious about the outlook. Strong second quarter production. And they're still like a little bit of a growth company. For copper, a growth. They're not building Zoom technology software here or anything like that. When I say growth, they're building out the mines. Copper production for the first half, as previously disclosed. Blah blah blah. No issues. Discussions with potential. All right, so nothing there. Show me the balance sheet. Oh yeah, and let's check revenues. All right, so look at this, 2019, 2020. So do you want the growth? There you go. There's my proof. It's up quite a bit year over year. In a shitty quarter, right? I mean, it's copper. It's not quite this. It's not consumer discretionary or something, but even still. Adjusted EBITDA. 51 million. Cash flow from operations 37. 6 months. Oh, so it's a strong quarter. Look at this. Cash flow from operations 37 for the whole EBITDA. EBITDA for 3 months 50. For 6 months only 56. All right, where's the balance sheet? Come on. You can clearly tell primacy of balance sheet, right? I mean, I care about that way more than everything else. For a play like this, the other thing I'll check too is who owns it. Does anyone own it? I didn't look up on this to see if anyone. Small companies like this, no one owns it. When like a fund or someone I respect. Where the hell is this balance sheet? God, jeez. All right, see, so here we got 2019, so I only have it through 2019. All right, but let's just look at the balance sheet. Here you go. This is good enough for me. A buck. Maybe they had a little bit of growth. Tangible book right here. A buck. So it trades. Trades at tangible book. Look at the revenues. I always like this. It was like, look at this, fairly stable revenues, huh? You see what I mean? Like a little bit of a. Oh, that's not as growthy as I thought it was. I thought it grew quite a bit like the past 5 years or so, but it's fairly stable. Okay, for better or worse, could be a good thing, not a bad thing. Earnings, I'm not too concerned about these losses and stuff because I think look at the book value. So this isn't great. See this? Look at this tangible book value. Kind of heading south. What the hell happened here? Wait, what is this? Share count? Oh, did they issue shares? See this? Do I have this out? Oh, it's still working. Sucks. Sometimes it stops working. 240. So they must have issued shares. That sucks. Operating cash flow. Look at this. Look at this operating cash flow, though. You know what I mean? When I see these like very capital-intensive industries like mining and so forth, I get nervous about cash burn. So I pay extra attention to operating cash flow. Look at this. Positive operating cash flow. You know who else? You see this for New Gold, too. That's not free cash flow. I don't care. It's just like I'd like to at least see positive operating cash flow, unless it has other things going for it. So here you got like a speculative mind. But even simple free cash flow. See simple free cash flow right here? And for those who haven't seen, simple free cash flow, just operating cash flow less capex. That's all. Just simple stuff. Not a robust free cash flow calculation or anything like that. But often this is adequate. You know what I mean? So and then I just see positive simple free cash flow like the past 5 years or something. So I don't love the share issuance. So I really would have to look into that. Just say what's going on here. But at the same time, I also think this was before COVID. This was as of March 31st. So I think, all right, they're probably well capitalized, though. You know what I mean? So bankruptcy is probably not necessarily likely. I don't love to see this declining book value, though. I'll tell you that. Kind of sucks. That's a drag. All right, Linda. Oh, look at that. See, I should have just Command F. What am I doing? Scrolling like an idiot. June 30th. Here we go. Let's calculate it. $60 million in cash. How big is this company? Oh, shit. That's bigger than I thought. Who owns it? 250 million. Oh, no wonder I liked it so much. You know what I mean? Like, it's not one of those, you see some mining companies out there super speculative, like developmental, like $20 million market cap. I can't do that. I mean, I've dabbled in the past. I don't know too speculative for me. So when I see like a mining company trading like under $1, apparently some people like are turned off by the share price. Like if it's below $1, and who cares? Who cares about the share price, right? Like it's like a negative connotation associated with. Like I couldn't care less. Someone mentioned that to me. They're like, you know, all the stocks that you're buying, it's like single-digit share price. I'm like, I've never noticed that. Like let's look at them. So like all the damn stocks that are in the portfolio. All right, so not so much this time because I diversified, but maybe before I was diversifying like crazy, it was all like really low. This ain't too bad. Oh, I feel better. Okay. I'm like, I never noticed that. Who cares what the share price is? Because it's completely arbitrary. You can have as many shares or as little shares as you want. Who cares? Anyway, I thought that was funny. So anyway, when I see the small under $1, I kind of just assumed it was smaller. A little bit deceiving. Also, it's a little bit of a good thing, I think, because I think other people. It sounds silly, but I think it's real. Where other people won't pay attention to it because it trades below $1. Doesn't that sound nuts? It sounds nuts to me. But $200 million market cap. That's legit. I like it more. Not everything's small. It's not all about small cap all the time. Sometimes it's good to have a little bit of heft so that people can get involved with it. I know I said that. All right, let's just calculate some book value here real quick. They got goodwill. They got goodwill for, you know. They almost have $1 billion in fixed assets. Wow, what? Long-term debt. Now, I'd be curious about this long-term debt. When is it coming due? What's the interest rate and all that shit? All right, so book value 287, 288 minus the goodwill. Anything else to subtract? Just a quick. There's other stuff we should take into consideration. Nah, that's good enough. 282 divided by 246. That would be $1.15, but this is in Canadian. This is Canadian dollar, so that messes with things. This is close enough. We'd have to do the Canadian dollar to US dollar convert. See this Canadian dollar? You got to be aware of that when you're dealing in Canadian stocks. All right, it's around $1. Okay, and then, oh, sorry, I pulled this up and I didn't pull it up. Let's just see who's looking at it. Oh, shit, I'm blocking. See anything? Nothing. Nothing. All right. I'll just trim on my way out. All right, that's decent. DVI down, just kind of hovered around there. SGMS not doing much. GIII coming kind of on back, but they're not doing much. They're not really doing anything. We should pull up all the charts and look through the charts again. See, there's nothing happening. There's nothing to do except celebrate GameStop. No, it's way too early. Hove, H to the Izzo. Ah, that's starting to look a little bit. Oh, okay. What are home builders doing? Finally. It's not super bearish. What else I got? A little bit of breathing room, huh? All right, let's pull up home builders. Let's do this. Go to industry. Let's go to, I actually think it's consumer discretionary, right? Home building. Here we go. Look at this. This is sick. I haven't used this much during the stream, but I've been looking forward to it. There we go. Let's check. This is the home builders group. And we start with the broad ones. Home builders. All right, so here's a home builder ETF. It's nice when when you have a specific ETF for whatever it is you're looking at. It's a good starting point. Kind of pulling back a little bit, but nothing alarming or anything like that. All right, lumber. Oh, because lumber's okay. So, oh yeah, what'd lumber do today? Did you see? Wasn't it like kissing 1,000? Wasn't that crazy? Did I? Oh no. Okay. Oh, it's coming back. So it's following. There you go. So we kind of have lumber's been super speculative. Oh, these could kind of sell off if lumber comes back to earth. If lumber comes back to earth, home builders might sell off a bit more. It's super bullish though. Look at this thing. Damn. What's the price right now? Look at this. Oh, so what do I got? What do I got? Futures price? Wait, is this when's this? August 31st? And what's this? Cash price or something? Lumber, September 20th. So this is the future price. And what do I got? A spot price or something? I don't even know what stock charts is doing. Random length. Oh, random length lumber, right? Continuous contract. I thought I saw 900. Okay, interesting. Anyway, they're kind of tied at the hip. Oh shit, did I just X? Okay, let's check a couple more home builders. Lumber, ITB, another home building, home construction. Nothing crazy. Everything still looks bullish. I mean, look at this. Look at the RSI on this too. Home construction, bullish. Just pulling back. Is this the week? Oh, this is daily though. That's the only thing. This is daily. Maybe I should have this be weekly. See what I mean? This is good. You're gonna see the same chart. Look at this. DHI. Lennar, same chart, but it's right up against previous resistance. Is this one too? I can't draw the line easily here. I won't. But all right, not DHI. All right, something to keep an eye. Let's keep an eye on this one too. NVR. PHM. I still have good exposure to this. Is it time to start trimming? I've been trimming the whole way up. Maybe it's time to do another round of trimming. I wouldn't say they look super cheap. Let's pull up a couple. Pull up like Toll, KBH, and let's pull up. Like, I'm not even going to pull up HOV. That's one of my top speculative ones. It's worked out tremendous. Look at this chart. It's been great. But it's like, it's even hard to value. Oh, that looks... So this is a good one. So I like to look at the more speculative ones as an indication as to where the industry might be heading. It kind of looks a bit worse than the other ones, doesn't it? And look at this. Looks a little bit more bearish. Interesting. All right. Let's just make a note. It might be time for another round of trim. I just don't think that they're super cheap. Let's check it out. I'll just look at a couple real quick. This is good because it's still a big. Oh, how big of it? Where the hell is it? I got to go to sub industry. Home building 3.9%. Still 4%. It's not nothing. But they're just not okay. Let's just say this will be the deciding factor. If they're still somewhat cheap, all right, maybe I'll hold on. But and I'm kind of bullish on the industry, a little bit. People smarter than me are bullish on the industry, and I read what they're saying. But for demographics reasons, right? It kind of seems like millennials and COVID may have accelerated this transition into more homes and stuff, maybe less, more into the suburbs and stuff. Kind of seemed like it was going to happen. Our previous generations did. But you're still not totally sure. But now it seems like, all right, then COVID happened, and they're like, all right, get me out of the city, get me into these homes and stuff like that, and it's kind of accelerated this trend. Doesn't mean it's definitely going to happen, but it kind of feels that way. Shit. And there was tremendous home demand before this all hit, right? It just looks like it's resuming the trend. That's what it looks like to me. Shit. Am I having spreadsheet troubles today? It's kind of a drag. Maybe just take an extra minute to load. In the meantime, let's do just a couple more charts. So I mean, this is important to go through for the bigger industries. I do this because I care, because I'm like I need to understand where I'm at with this industry, because it's legit one of the top ones. What is it? Computer and electronics. That's just GameStop. Oil and gas, gold. You can see clearly like here. This is why I'm pulling this stuff up, right? I'm pulling up oil all the time. What's it doing, by the way? It's doing nothing. It's doing nothing. I don't. It doesn't matter. But there's nothing, up days, down days. I just don't care. If anything, this is bullish to me. I love when they're doing nothing. It's just slightly trending higher. You know what I mean? Is this the weekly? That looks bullish to me, but still nothing really happening. So okay. And then gold, chemicals, TSC is a big part of that, and home building. So it's like one of the top. That's why I'm wondering. I'm half explaining to you, and I'm half like trying to explain to myself why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that's just because I have the exposure. So I just want to remain dialed in, both on the charts and, if possible, on the fundamentals if I have time. Same damn charts. And kind of tied to lumber. All right, come on, please be working. Oh, what a drag. So they all broken? Oh, that's a drag. Sorry about that. Sometimes these spreadsheets ain't working. Let me just clear everything out. Give ourselves a couple minutes. Let it refresh. Bummer. I've been clearing these out. Remember, if I click off these checkboxes, it's sick. Just clear them out. It's dope. Where else? Oh, daily. Oh, you know what we can do today? We can look at the daily movers, too. Check all these off. So I try to uncheck just to clear out, just so we can keep it kind of... Don't have too many tickers complaining. Interfering. Oh, come on. That's a bummer. At least I... Oh, I gotta... Check them off one more time, then we're just going to move on while we wait. We'll do toll, KBH, and MHL. BZH is another one, too. Okay. All right. Okay, let's keep going. I guess that's it. What else? There's nothing really else to see. We could check the... I don't feel like looking at any more charts right now. We could check this buy list. Like, what was happening on this buy list today? Tuesday Q pulling back. I saw Tuesday Q. Tuesday Q is a damn triple from the lows. It's a bankrupt company. I'll tell you what I did is I did I buy it? Was it ever in? I don't think it was in the Roaring Kitty portfolio. I don't think it was. It's a bankrupt company. I manage the Roaring Kitty portfolio just a tad differently. Like, but I think I bought it in another account, and I was just a little bit too early. The balance sheet is super strong, I think, for a bankrupt company, but a bankrupt company is a risky investment. And what happened was I think I got it like 20 cents or something, and or like 25 cents, something like that, and then it went down to 12. 12 was the time to buy, because with something like this, you want something like this to have 10 bagger potential. And when I reflect and I look back at when I bought like 20, 25 cents, there's not a strong case. It could be a 10 bagger. It could go to 250, but the book value was like a buck or a buck 50. Then again, it's bankrupt. You know what I mean? You never know what's going to come out of bankruptcy. You could get screwed in bankruptcy. I've seen it happen before. So that you get that, it would never be a heavy position. But I'm like, yeah, it's got 10 bagger potential. And who liked it? Jeremy Bloom on Seeking Alpha. He liked it, and I respected his analysis of it. But then I just wish I waited until it down to 15 cents, and then I kind of messed. I'm like, so you want to time your buy properly, because you can make the most money, so you can make the highest gain, right? But also for emotional reasons, because if it goes down another 50% from when you bought it, it kind of interferes with yourself a little bit. So you want to be. This is super. It's silly that I'm using this as an example, because it's just super speculative. It matters less for this type of a play. But even still, I'm like, 15 cents would have been right, because then it's a legitimate 10 bagger. I think I just messed up on my estimates a little bit as I look back on book value and stuff. But it's still a triple. It's a triple from the lows. That ain't bad. It's still up from whatever the hell I would have bought it at, but I don't remember. But yeah, RFP, not much. PRTY hanging in there. PBF, not much. Oh, we got GameStop on the buy list. Circ. Market cap 433. Okay. What's FTK doing? Sick. This looks good, huh? This looks real good. But we dove. Remember, we dove deep into that. Did I make a note on that? And which the issue was they're changing their business model a bit, because they diversified. They acquired that company, and we don't have much insight as to whether it's going to work out. But they had a ton of insider buying, right? And Nuremberg is his name. Nuremberg. Is it up and running yet? Would we add to it? It's a big position in the portfolio, though, isn't it? Yeah, it's 2%. What are you going to do with that? What are you going to add to that? Maybe. I said the oil price. I said WTI wasn't looking that bad. Can we add to this? Maybe in time. Oh, it got overbought in the weekly. See that? What do you think of this chart? This chart looked kind of interesting, doesn't it? I mean, I know we looked at it, but the passage of time. Sometimes nothing will happen. You know what I mean? I don't know if technical analysts. I think they do. They talk about this. Like just time passing. You just want more time to pass to substantiate whatever move it was, and even closer to whatever catalyst might happen or change in sentiment. This looks good. This is the weekly chart too, right? Yeah, right there, weekly. Shit. And I talked about how we don't know. There's a little bit more risk because we don't know how they're going to pull off this acquisition and shit. But at the same time, that could also be more upside. That could be more upside because I have no idea. I have no idea. Just to use a common comparison, use Tesla. No one knows what the upside is for real. That's not a great example, but. I mean, what if this new data company that they got? I don't feel like pulling it up right now, but you remember, right? They were like, it was like an oil and energy data company. They were going to be more data focused for the energy industry, like finding oil reserves or whatever the hell it was. What's the name of the company that they bought? Ah, shit. Oh, is this article? This article wasn't bad. Yeah, I talked about this. It was a good introduction to the company. It was perfect for me because it wasn't so much security analysis focused. I can do that part. But it was more, hey, here's what the company's doing right now. I always love that stuff because I'm like, all right, sick. It saves me the time of having to go piece the story together myself. What did it just acquire? Come on. It was like JP3 right here. Is it like a data analytics company for the energy industry, right? I don't know. What the hell is that? It would be some niche player. But you're betting on the management team. But here's why it might be. You're betting on the management team who I don't know. I don't know if they can actually pull it off though. there's a case to be made. They've kind of dropped the ball. They had a major asset sale a couple of years ago, and 18 months ago, and stock prices, like, see this, there was a major asset sale, and the proceeds were like more than the enterprise value, and it quickly got corrected. Talk about efficient market hypothesis, my ass. You know what I mean? You track enough stocks and stuff like this. Efficient market, you can tell who's a practitioner or who's an academic. I mean, it's kind of cliche, but like, if you see enough shit out there where the market is quite obviously not efficient, it's like, look at this. On December 24th, it was trading at $1, and on January 7th, it was trading at almost $3, right? And I mean, there's like, it's not totally bunk. The market is often in the vicinity of accurate, right? With the information that's known. And I'm not totally, it's not like I was dialed into flow tech back then, but I'm pretty sure I probably would have said, well, remember the whole market was selling off in 2018, right? So, but there's pockets of tremendous opportunity, of very obvious mispricings. Obviously, I think that's the case with GameStop, and where it's obvious the market's not being efficient. So anyway, I always laugh at that. So, but look at this. So they had this asset sale. The stock price is barely up. It's done nothing for a year. There's a lot that's been going on, but I think people were hoping maybe they'd dish out the proceeds as like a dividend, or what are they going to do with the proceeds? This is why it was kind of just watching the balance sheet. It's a balance sheet play. It did nothing. People just watching the cash on the books. What are they going to do with the cash on the books? What are they going to do with the cash on the books? And then I wonder if this is when they announced. No, it couldn't have been. I wonder when they announced they were going to do an acquisition. And then you think, like, people were worried about that with GameStop. They're like, oh yeah, they got all that cash in the books. Wait till you see them blow it. Wait till they blow it on some dumbass acquisition, which is a reasonable criticism of any company. But in the GameStop's case, it was a brand new management team. like it's not as much of a risk. It's a risk that could screw things up. But the other team is gone. So in this case, off the top of my head, I'm not totally sure, but I thought Nuremberg was somewhat new to the company, the guy who was doing the insider buying. Is there another? I think I have another website to do insider buying that's not Open Insider. What if I do this? Shit. I can't remember what it is. There's like Insider Cow and stuff. Let's just check that one out, actually. That should be I've heard that's a good one. Like if I do, do I need a password and stuff? I don't love that. Oh, that works. Sick. There we go. I need my backup. This will be my backup. Shit. I'll put it right next to it. Right there. I hope it changes to the favicon icon. You know that favicon thing? Oh, this isn't. I only want. These aren't outright purchases, are they? They're not open. They're not insider purchases, are they? Look at these. Oh, we saw Nuremberg. All right, so I had Nuremberg through August 24th. Are these conversation? Sorry, let me zoom in there a little bit for you. What is this? They didn't buy more, did they? No, I don't think so. I don't know how to read this. Come on, Open Insider. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Damn. It fixes. I think his website just goes down, and then he either he has to reboot it or he does it automatically. It'll come up. It could have come up on this stream. What time is it? 8:54? Damn. Alright. It doesn't matter. I'm intrigued by this, though. I have no strong conviction that they're going to pull off any a turnaround with this new business model, but it's worth a risk. I mean, it's already a 2% position, right? This is the thing. Well, if it's already got a good-sized position, I'm like, you have the capital. At some point, you're going to be super, careful with your capital. Like, if there's a tremendous opportunity, you'll deploy a bunch. That's why GameStop is as big of a position for me as it is. And, of course, I have more even outside of the Roaring Kitty portfolio. But it's still speculative, and it's in energy. It has your typical energy risks. I didn't write a tweet on this one yet. I said I was gonna, but I didn't do it. What happened was when I read more about it, I got a little bit like but now I'm kind of intrigued because of the chart. Isn't that crazy? Dig back into. Damn. And then in the insider buying, without the insider buying game chain, the only reason that here we go. This is me trying to ascribe a weight to the different factors that I take into consideration. Insider buy, in this case, insider buying, the strength of the balance sheet. It was a net. It was a net. It was a net, right? It was trading below net. You talk about, oh, Benjamin Graham. There's no nets out there. It was a net, right? It was like $1 in net or 90 cents, 95 cents. I remember 95 cents in net. And then which then it's like an easy decision. There's no decision to be made. You give the capital to that. You're like, oh, you even if there's a 50% chance you figure this shit out, there you go, take it, because the downside is relatively limited, especially compared to what else is out there. And then it's still a positive net, if I recall correctly. So there's still somewhat limited downside, which I like. And then if they can pull off all this upside, terrific. And then they got the insiders buying, which telegraphs to me that they care, they're trying, and they think it's going to work out. And I mean, what the hell do I know about data analytics for the industry? I don't know shit. But I can think about, you can envision data being more important in a new era where you need to be more careful managing costs because maybe oil prices are not as high. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I mean, I think that we'll be going to see another run up in oil prices before we're beyond oil. But you can imagine data being even more important for these companies, right? That's to say nothing about, it's not even that big of an acquisition. It was like 30 million or something. It's not like it's a big time expert type whatever. That's not the point. The point is, could there be something there? Okay, maybe I add. Oh, jeez. Let's pull up the balance sheet. I hate to do this again because we just looked at it, but this is how I do research. Like, I don't just do it in one sitting. I'm kind of doing it in the stream, and sometimes I feel like doing the research, sometimes I don't. But sometimes I got to revisit a week later when the stock price has done nothing and I have new information. The stock price maintained the level. It got overbought on the weekly. It probably wasn't even overbought last week. And today, even the stock price this week is holding up, even though the market kind of came back a little bit, especially some energy names. It kind of held up okay. It wasn't even down 1% today. And now it looks good in this chart. So we have some new information, and so I build my thesis in companies over time. Although it was easy at first because if you trade below net, it doesn't take me. I'll make the decision in 10 minutes, 15 minutes maybe. Let's just check this balance sheet real quick. We just looked at this too. What the hell is this? Why does this look like this? That looks weird, doesn't it? What in the world? What is this? Where's my clean tables? Oh, this looks like shit. All right, let's just do this. Look at this. They got $60 million in cash after the acquisition. So they had $100 million. See what I mean? That's why it was tough to trade below that. They got $100 million in cash. They're just chilling December 31st. Just like, yeah, we're just sitting on some cash here. Figure out what we're going to do. By the way, GameStop has more cash on its book than its market cap. For those not paying attention, yes, they have debt and they got the revolver previously, blah, 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 whatever. But just making a point. Let's take current assets. I just want to look at net, really. Look at current assets. Total current assets, 101, and 60 million of that is cash. High quality, top-notch cash. 60% of it. You need some cash for operations. What's the rule of thumb? The rule of thumb is like 1 to 2% of trailing 12-month revenues. What is that? That maybe is for like retailers or something. Like you need some cash to keep things moving. You know what I mean? Some cash on the books. It's not like they could pay out 60 million as a dividend or something and keep running business. You need a little bit of cash to keep things lubricated. But and then what's total liabilities? Look at this. 33 total liabilities. They only have $3 million in debt. See, this is great. You know, especially like this is great for a super cyclical industry and shit like that. Like even for like fossil, that's not a cyclical industry. Well, I mean, you're seeing some cycle right now, but you need some strength to at least potentially stage a turnaround or deal with volatility. 33. So what do we got for net? 101 minus 34. I'll call it 34. 67. What's the share count? Just a quick 66, about a buck. A buck in net, mind you. What's book value? $109. Do they have any goodwill or intangibles or shit? Shit, they do. All right, subtract that. That useless in this industry. They try to make the case that they have some. You probably just, I wouldn't. I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying that they're wrong or anything. Goodwill divided by 66. All right, so it trades above book. It looks like about a $1.40 if I'm doing that math right. 108, 109 minus the goodwill. There's no intangibles, right? Oh, they got intangible assets too? Shit, I missed that. See what I mean? That's like customer list or something from the acquisition. All right, so book's not that great. But you're kind of pricing in the growth of the new acquisition. All right. Is this working? Can I check that off? Let me just check that off. Hopefully GME. Oh, hello, Jiang. Hopefully GME uses that cash to reinvent their business. No, yeah, totally, right? They have to. Like, yeah, you wouldn't. You could use that cash for a lot of stuff, right? You could use it. They got a ton of cash. And part of it will be used to reinvent their business, right? They have to. The reinventing the business is an important part of the turnaround. But the cash that's currently on the books, you might say, well, maybe that it in particular doesn't go toward reinventing business. They need to make sure they have enough inventory on hand for the new consoles. They need to make sure they pay off their debt. They could be buying back debt. Here's the thing. This is why this is an important part of the thesis too. GameStop is likely going to generate quite a bit of free cash flow over the next 12 months and thereafter. 12 months, looking at 1 year, 2 years, they're going to generate some free cash flow over the next couple of years, and it's that free cash flow that I mean, they're going to be using cash all throughout. They're going to use some of this cash to reinvent the business. Of course. I just mean it's important to remember they got this, not just this cash currently on the books, but they also have some cash that will be incoming that everyone's like overlooking. But it's like that's an important part of the thesis. Like it's like yeah. That's it. This is why, like, if there were no expectations they were going to generate a positive free cash flow, then it's like, all right, this cash is really this got to be tied up to pay off debt and to reinvent the business. Like they're like they have to use it, but they're going to have some flexibility in this. To be honest, and I don't know how popular opinion this is, but that cash that they have in the books should have been used for share buybacks. What post bond exchange? I was in the camp too, and I felt like I jumped the gun on this, where I thought they should have been buying back in December and January, and then with everything that happened, where they literally had to close their stores, I was relieved that that they didn't listen to me. Like I'm like, oh, I was so happy they had that cash in the books and that they didn't buy back shit. I'm like, oh, they got that right. Thank you, Jordan. Same page. I was like, you thought that too? I'm like, you should be buying that back right now because the price was in the gutter. And then when they didn't, I'm like, oh, damn. I was so. As a shareholder, I was appreciative. I'm like, oh, I would have got that wrong. Now, to be sure, they it still might have been fine. The thesis still might have been attacked. They weren't necessarily going to be dead in the water, but it would have been much more like for like 3 or 4 months. I'd say I was still all that cash in the books. I wasn't closing their stores and stuff. It's definitely like, what the hell's going on, right? But I wasn't like, if you know what I mean. You get what I'm saying, right? I can't put it into words. But, and I'm like, oh, dang, because I like strong balance sheets. I like a little bit of comfort. I like a little bit of margin of safety. And if their backs were against the wall, and this was like March or April where there was just so much uncertainty, right? I would have been like, ah. And then I wanted the bond exchange. They got rid of some important covenants and stuff and extended their debt a bit. But once that's done, and they got that closed up in July, what the hell? Like, I can't see the strong case not buying it back. And you could say, well, they need that cash to transform their business. Well, wait a second. Do you see how much cash they have? Now, this was as of June 30th, right? We believe they did a sale leaseback where they may have netted an additional 50 to 100 million in cash. Okay, they have 570 million. The buyback authorization remaining is like 100 or 120. I think it was 120. Like it's a fraction of the cash that they have in the books. They have enough cash in the books to pay off their long-term debt. What's the long-term? Where is it? To pay off their long-term debt, current portion. What the hell is that long-term debt? 417. To pay off their long-term debt, and the revolver, and they still have cash left over. Wait, and maybe not the buybacks too. 417. Where's that revolver? 135. All right, so they don't have enough to cover the revolver too. But remember, I do think they're going to generate positive free cash flow. So, but then the sale leasebacks. So there's an extra 1,500 million. So they are cash rich. And because if they weren't cash rich, then the case against buybacks. Okay, I get it. But you can't have this much cash, and you can't have this tremendous of an opportunity where the share price has been trading. It was below $4 in July. It was below $4. What the hell was that? You know, it hasn't worked. That the thesis hasn't worked out yet. So it's important not to be taking victory laps right now. But Cohen getting involved, I'm like, all right, maybe I'm starting to think we are probably right about this. But until it's worked out in a big way, we shouldn't be saying that. Maybe they announced Q3 and it's so horrible. We're like, oh shit, good thing they didn't buy back. I doubt it. But let's keep an open mind. So if you have this much cash and you just generate more cash sale leasebacks, you can handle an extra 120 million at this tremendous opportunity, a very time sensitive tremendous opportunity to buy back a third of your shares. Like it's such a rare opportunity to get that, and what a waste it will have been if they didn't do it. It will be a waste. There's the case against the buybacks, given what we know right now, is just not strong. And now the blackout period, right? Was it Jordan who mentioned that? Yeah, Jordan. Now we get the blackout period. Fine. Again, if they had a 10b5-1 though, you can still buy back, I believe, if you had one in place, which they can always get one in place. So I believe they can pull that off. So it's just indefensible. But when I read their presentations and I read their press releases, I gotta say it really seemed like they weren't going to do it. I'm just like, oh, what are you doing? Come on. Now there are other stakeholders besides shareholders. You got the shareholders, which is probably most of us, but you get the bondholders too. This is why it was probably important that they knew they needed to do a bond exchange, and then they got whacked by. They should have done it sooner. So when I say management has mostly done a lot of the right things, I feel as though they should have refinanced sooner. And then they got, as a lot of firms did, they got whacked with COVID. I mean, then can you imagine trying to refinance in that environment? Like, but they shouldn't have waited so long. But they're doing lots of things. We shouldn't be so harsh on them. Look at this. Look what type of position they're in. There's a lot of moving parts here. But even still, I'm just talking objectively. And if we were walking through their decisions with brushing fine-tooth comb, you know what I mean? Magnifying glass. Then it's like, you should have done that earlier. But even still, that's still not totally. What if it happened? What if the whole pandemic happened 6 months earlier? Then what would we be saying? So, you know what? That's not totally fair. But anyway, but they knew that they had to do this bond exchange, and maybe they even knew that. Maybe they were more dialed into the pandemic than I was. It was a strong possibility that I wasn't. And they were like, we better keep this cash on hand. But it was important not to piss off the bondholders. You can't piss off the bondholders. Plus, there's other. Anyway, it's important not to piss off the bondholders. Do all the share repurchases, because the bondholders are like, what are you doing? That's precious capital you can use to pay us back. Even though they had just done super aggressive buybacks, so it's like they kind of just play both sides. But then I read the press release and stuff. I feel like maybe they were trying to placate bondholders when they were using that language. But now it's behind them. But the bond exchange is behind them. Closed up in July 6th, July 7th, and I'm like, this is okay. You have another opportunity. What are you waiting for? And maybe they did. We still don't know. There's been a couple of days where there was quite a bit of volume on. Let's check it. I mean, 37 today. In theory, again, if there were a 10b5-1, but you're probably right. It's probably a blackout. It's probably safer to assume they don't have one. I'm not totally sure. But you had 37 million today. You had 10 million back on August 21st. But their quarter, they were already in the blackout period, right? Was it July 31st? Yeah, July 31st. So, but June, August 4th, August. So, and you can just you could do what Cohen did, just buy a little bit each thing. You can have that. Anyway, it doesn't look like they did, plus their language, but I'm kind of hoping. So, sorry, where was I just going with that? Oh, the cash. Oh, one other thing I want to say on the stakeholders is you got shareholders, you got bondholders, you have employees too. Like I check out that GameStop subreddit. Like, and when I first was looking at GameStop, I was super impressed with, like, I don't know how many companies have their own subreddit, but like some of those employees, and just generally, many of them are gamers, are like kind of passionate about gaming and passionate about their position. Now, there's been some negative stuff on there, quite a bit of negative stuff over the past 12 months, and probably some of that has to do with this turnaround, but the company's in a tough position. But even still, in the same way you can't piss off your bondholders, you can't piss off your employees either. So it's important to, I mean, you got to treat your employees well, and you got to navigate this. Like, not everyone is going to be super, super happy, including shareholders. I'm just saying, like, from a particular perspective, you kind of hope for things, but you remember, you got to kind of satisfy everybody. That's how you thrive the most. And then you have customers too. You got to satisfy your customers. You got to satisfy employees. You got to satisfy your bondholders, your shareholders. So it's not an easy thing to do. It's not all about the shareholders, because I talk about the buybacks, but I'm talking about strictly from a capital allocation standpoint. If they didn't have the cash, like I said, I'd have a different viewpoint. But I think they have the cash, and I think they have the upcoming catalyst to generate some free cash flow, that they have the opportunity to do it, in addition to the fact that the share price wouldn't be this low for so long. But anyway, but it's important to make sure you don't piss everyone off, and you still need to keep, you still need those customers. You need their employees they're experts on a lot of this stuff, and they're passionate about gaming. That's a really great thing to have for your firm. They're going to be, especially if you read Cohen's comments about Chewy and stuff, and even the current management team too. Like to be able for customers to go to a store, and you're truly dealing with people who are, experts on the gaming stuff, right? I know you got Best Buy and see these other ones too, but like GameStop is the game store. That's the game store. And these people know a lot about gaming. They can make recommendations. They love gaming themselves. So you can cultivate an environment where people want to shop there. And so this is what I mean. You just got to keep everyone happy. I'm going all over the place here on the stakeholders, but it's important to remember it doesn't just apply to GameStop. It applies to every company. And it's important not to be too close-minded about all this stuff. And this is why I felt as though I made a mistake in my thinking back in late last year with those share buybacks. And from what I see right now, I think it's much less of a mistake. But we'll see how cute. I reserve the right to call myself to look back on the stream like, you're an idiot. You know what I mean? I do it all the time. But I think it's just a tremendous opportunity. So again, I've already said I don't think it's likely, but it will be a missed opportunity. You see me I have a list of missed opportunities. Look at this shit. You see me talk about missed opportunities. Boom. There's so many more than this. I keep on forgetting to put it in this particular Evernote because I keep on writing it elsewhere. I'll go through someday. I just don't have time right now. I'll go through it. I'll update it. But this would be a missed opportunity, I feel, for GameStop. But not the thesis breaks. The whole thesis isn't based on that. You know what I mean? This is why it's good to have a thesis that a multivariate thesis, if you will, just for lack of a better word. That it's a robust thesis. That there's not what's going to happen to break the thesis on Q3 earnings. There's not much that could break it. Not a lack of share buybacks. Or not even maybe a truly hard quarter. Remember we looked at Fossil and revenues were down like 48%. GameStop struggling, but 48%. I'd say if GameStop was down 48% year over year, especially with the increased gaming demand, I'd be like, shit. I'd be like, I'm gonna need another beer. Oh damn. So that's it. Maybe really extreme, but other than that, it's like it's got enough going for it. Sale leasebacks and all the cash, and then you got Cohen involved. That this is good. It's like building a firm, stable thesis here, and I've long felt this is how it's been. Harsh Patel, what's up, man? Cheers, cheers, cheers. Including, among others, limitations on asset sales, additional liens, investments, incurrence of additional debt, and share purchases. I missed it. Sorry. The agreement governing our revolver and the indenture governing our 2021 senior notes place certain restrictions on us and our subsidiaries. Would that include the share purchase? It looks like, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure. It could, but there's ways around this stuff. I did read, if you look into it, there's also something that says, too, if they don't have an investment grade credit rating, if you recall, it looks like you looked through this, so nice work, that maybe they wouldn't, that certain stipulations would hold them accountable for it. And but I'm not 100% sure. This is where having an attorney on hand can really come in handy, parsing apart these and going into it. It's possible. So maybe we talk about this opportunity. Maybe there's not an opportunity because their hands are tied. I'm not 100% sure. I like to think that part of this bond exchange negotiation, it opened them up. From what I could tell, you've quoted a couple of things there. From what I could tell, they did still have the opportunity to buy back. That's just from the top of my head. I can't defend that I'd have to go dig through and pull it apart. But if you look a little bit further down, it's verbose, right? There's so many damn things there. It looked like they had some outs as to, and I think this is often the case with this boilerplate language that you see in these bond exchanges and stuff, where they can get around it. And especially in the case of share purchases. But in theory, it's possible that they couldn't. I'll concede that point. And so, but again, I don't even think the buybacks are likely regardless. But this would just be an added reason they couldn't. But again, from what I recall, when I looked through it, I thought that they could do it. But not an attorney, not an expert on parsing those apart. We could. Do we have time? Oh, I don't want, me reading stuff on here is kind of boring, but you got a link real quick? Help me track that down. I can pull it up. I know it was in the memorandum is where you'd get a lot of this stuff. But we know it finished up, and when was it first? When was it first filed here? June 5th? June 9th? It was right around here. Right? Ah, shit. Oh, you know what? Watch this. Ah, that don't work. When was it? If I can do it in like 5 minutes. Now I'm curious. What the hell? Newsroom. It was like June 9th, right? Here we go. June 18th? Oh, yeah, no, June 18th is when they, here we go, June 4th. I'm going to copy, what'd you say? Ah, shit, is it on the tail end? Is it not in the initial filing? Let me see. Is this their earnings? Ah, shit. I don't feel... I can't look it up. I can't look... I don't know if I can look it up right now. What is this? Oh, we need it on the tail end. Rowan Kitty, thanks for the short squeeze video on GME. That brought me to the channel and I subbed every. Thank you, Pose77. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad people liked it generally too, by the way. Because I was trying, if you saw my other videos too, they were a little bit long form, if you want to call it. That was, now you've seen the stream, you know how I perform research, right? Like that was me just like, here's me performing my research and kind of sharing with you what I'm seeing. But I did my best in that video to like, I'm like, no one wants to watch a 60-minute video, right? Myself included. So then I did that second round, this the Scarbot one night, where I at least tried to give you a summary, and then I did, all right, let's, and then a quicker version of some of the things. And then in the latest one, I'm like, all right, let me do this new version of sharing research of like, I had to learn Final Cut. That's why it took me a couple of weeks. I feel like I finished it just in time. Jeez. But I had to learn Final Cut to try to like, first of all, for it to just be quicker. And I know I'm talking fast, and I know you can't. It's impossible to watch. It's impossible to read everything in one view. But that was on purpose. You can pause the video and like read the left-hand panel, which the left-hand panel is important to me because those are stuff you can see me on this stream what I'm looking at. Sorry, Harsh. I'll keep Harsh Patel. I'll keep on researching this in just a second, but you can like I left it like you can see what I first look at, and so I hope other people. Oh, hey, for anyone interested, do I have that video up? I'll check it later. There's a stat at the top of the video where it says like low high percentage, 78% or 48%. If you remember that, that's no one's seen that before. That's a percent to 52-week high and a percent from 52-week low, if you know what I mean. It's right in that, right next to where it says GameStop stock price and stuff. Just FYI, because I feel like no one knows what that is. But anyway, I hope that I'm like, let me try this out because I've never seen a video like this before, and I wanted to get you the information as soon as you can. You can always pause the video and come back to it later. But I'm like, I hope people like this because, like, I myself am like, oh, this is sick because you know how I pull up that Seeking Alpha article for FTK, whatever. I'm like, oh, this is a great quick summary about a company that's really helpful for me. That's what I was trying to do with that video. Is like, here you go, Pose here. I mean, individual investor. I don't even know how to pronounce her name. Pose77. It maybe introduced you to the thesis, whereas it would have been really tough to communicate it to someone because it takes so long to share analysis that I hope that I could just boil it down. People see this and like, oh shit, okay, I kind of get the thesis, and then you can go from my video to go explore yourself. It wasn't a comprehensive one, but and then I hope people like it because I'm so dialed into GameStop, you can tell, right? And I thought this would be a great model to use because I want to do it for other stocks too. You see how many damn stocks are in the portfolio? I got shit tons of them. But GameStop's dominating my time right now. It just has because of the nature of the investments. But I want to do one for all these. And what's funny is that GameStop I got it down to 4 minutes, right? But you can see if I made a video for these ones, the video is going to be like 2 minutes long, right? It's like, what do I have to say about FTK? Insider buying, net, positive net. There's like 5 things I say. But even still, that could be a good thing. I thought maybe people would like that. So I'm like, yeah. And then that was the whole point of the kitty corner, is that I'll start rolling out more videos. I need to get efficient at it. I just learned Final Cut. It took me a long ass time. But then I can spin it up like once a week or something, or once. We'll see. If I'm still testing stuff out. Some nice people have given me some great feedback on stuff, and thank you to everyone who's reached out to me directly and given me feedback. I just really any feedback anywhere. I really appreciate even the bad, even the negative feedback, because it helps me, because I'm like, all right, like I'm a millennial, right? So I kind of grew up with the internet, and I really respect the internet, generally the internet's opinions on stuff. It's like I want to do right by them. Like what your opinions are matters. And so same thing goes for this video. I'm like, all right, yeah, maybe I could do that, do this. And oh, Harsh Patel, I just realized I wasn't live on video. I was like 5 minutes behind. Oh, Harsh Patel, sorry about that. I forget too that there's a little bit of delay between you and myself, so I'm all over the place. Yeah, right, because you chat me on chat and I see it immediately, but you don't catch up till later maybe. But anyway, but I really appreciate the opinions, because then I try to improve things. You can see in just August I was taking feedback. People were like, your video is too damn long. It needs to be quicker. And I listened to them, and I'm like, you're right. It should be longer. Even I don't want to watch a damn 60-minute video. Who gives a shit? Roy and Kitty, who cares about you, right? And that's what I would say too. Who cares? And then it's like, if you want to get your thesis out there, be quicker. You know what I mean? Like be quicker. Just get it out there. Move on. And so then I'm like, they're right. I have to get it down quicker. So I wanted to use GameStop as a model because I'm so dialed in. And of course, you iterate, right? It gets better over time. Same thing with your investment strategy. Test. That's why I'm always saying test stuff out. Try to expand everything, your skill sets, your investment universe, and everything, and try to get better with the stuff over time. So that's how I viewed this video, my videos, the like learning Final Cut. I'm like, I know I'm going to look back on this video in 6 months and be like, wow, that was really swag, you know? But I don't care. Let's just get it out, and then people give me feedback, and then like this, and saying, yeah, that's good, and then it helps me. I'm like, all right, good, they did like that, and then maybe I can tweak this or tweak that, and as I can make these more efficiently and be more whatever. And then I got to do it for these other stocks. The investment world doesn't revolve around GameStop. I need to make it for these other ones, but it's just such a timely period for GameStop. I have to. What can I do? GME plus 24%. Your YAA? What's YAA? Tesserian Calden. GME plus 24%. What's that? Week over week? I don't know what that is. Year over year? I don't know what that is. The latest comment. Yang, I actually really enjoy how in-depth you go in the longer videos. It shows you're not just clickbaiting and gives a good impression. Thank you. Okay. So Jiang Vu, he says, I actually really enjoy how in-depth you go in the longer videos. It shows you're not just clickbaiting and gives a good impression of your thought process. Thank you. Because that how important is that? So I see a lot of stuff for other videos, and it is kind of clickbaity. And you see, so I changed up the videos. Like I changed the graph, the thumbnail on it a little bit, because apparently that's what you're supposed to do for people to click on. I'm new to YouTube, to content creation, as you can tell. You're supposed to do that so people will click on it, right? But Harsh Patel, same, I have been enjoying and learning from your research. Thank you. So the channel is educational, right? These aren't recommendations. That's why I put the disclaimers everywhere. These picks that you see are not necessarily good picks for you, right? I hope everyone understands that, and that I'm just trying to educate you. And so when I put together... I'm glad you said that, because when I put together this latest 5-minute video, in my mind, I don't think that's like the most robust, comprehensive video to convey a thesis to you. This is why I said, like, that first one I did, that was like, that's real, that's truly educational, because you can see the stuff I look. This is why this is what I do in the stream too. Like a thesis, a thesis takes time. Managing a portfolio takes time. It's an investment of time. And like, it's so boring. I feel like I'm having a good time asking questions and stuff. We're drinking beers, having laughs. The market's ridiculous, right? And but it's boring stuff like this, doing day in, day out. So it's not for everybody. People criticize this. I get it. Like, you think about tracking stocks, you're tracking thousands of stock. You tell that to someone, their eyes glaze over, and I don't blame them. It's ridiculous. So you got to have the right mindset. But if you do, then those other videos, you can kind of see the process. This stream isn't for everybody. Who has 3 hours? But that's why I let it upload after too, so you can track it. But so people can watch it later, because you can't set aside the time during the day. And so I want it to be educational. And I agree with you. This is why I include those videos as part of the playlist, because I'm like, this isn't the video, the 5-minute one. I need to attach these onto it, because you can see my thought process over time. And really, This is why the stream's helpful for me too, because like right now, that when we did the Ryan Cohen research on Friday, that was legitimate research. I'm not gonna, it turned out to be a video because I even put a thumbnail on that. I don't know if you saw that, but you're trying to be like, search Ryan Cohen, they'll come across this video, and it's not. It's like bona fide research. This is what I'm doing here, and for some people, they'll be interested in it. And you can find it educational, you can find it helpful, and then for other people, they just want the thesis. So it depends on the audience. You got to read the audience. But I agree with Bill. I still want to do the stream. This is why I'm not just focused on the videos. Maybe down the line, I'm open to what I'm going to do with the channel. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. We'll see. If GameStop works out, that might change my mind a little bit so I'm really open-ended. I'm open to feedback and be like, I really like this or I really like that. The video was great. I like the long-form stuff. I like the stream. Maybe not the stream isn't for everybody. This is the most we've had on the stream, everybody. This is sick, by the way. Welcome everybody to the stream. Here I am, I'm just talking. We're not even looking at all the. What time is it? 9:30. We'll get to daily movers today for anyone interested. But yeah. So thanks for that feedback because the video. First of all, the short videos take a long. I'll get better with time, but. Hell, but even the long, I have fun with the long ones too, because I'm like, this is how I'm before you see me doing the stream. It's just me putting it in a video, but so it's a balancing act. I'd like to do both maybe. And how about videos? How about videos about just did you see? Well, they're not very good edited videos, but the ones where I talk about my investment style and stuff, those can be improved. Like I just put those together. It's one take, right? I didn't no editing or anything. I just needed to get it up. But I'd like to do more videos like that where I talk about. Think about all the different topics we covered during the stream. It's just like I'm just shooting the shit, like going through my thought process. But some of those should be videos. It's not fair to you that you should have to watch a 3-hour stream to get some of those tidbits, or that you have to sit. That's not fair to you. You should be able to. You know what? I'd like to learn about this Roaring Kitty approach to risk management, or to whatever it is, to using technical analysis, to building a position, all that stuff, right? Because even if it's just my style, it's not the style. But if you're curious about it, it's not fair to you that you got to watch a stream, and I feel bad about that. But it's on my mind. Like this will evolve. This is month number 1. Hey, this is month number 1. What is it? August 31st. But it's okay. Like we're iterating. So this way, the feedback along the way helps me, and I really appreciate the people who reach out to me directly and be like, hey, try this, try that, because it's helpful for me. Because as you can tell, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Do you know what you're doing? I don't know what I'm doing. It looks like I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't. Don't get the wrong impression. Look at I just put colors. I draw lines on charts, and I pull up fundamentals, and I got color conditional formatting. I'm faking it. I'm faking it. Derek Chin, the short videos could attract a larger crowd, but I agree it should be a balance of both. They both have value. I agree. Oh, you should add a donation page. Wow, that's really... No, I have not added a donation. No donation page. No, I just truly educational, because I would have liked something this back in the day. And I appreciate the feedback, because I'm glad you're liking that. But I agree with you. The short videos could attract... I think that's it. Like the shorter videos, like punchier videos, more people will, with a thumbnail and everything, more people will click it. But it's not as elaborate. But for some people, too, it might be enough of a thesis. Like if technical analysts check out that video, this is why there were some technical analysts talking about it this weekend. And I'm like, hey, FYI, if you're curious about the fundamental case, you got to check out this video. Because even though they don't care that much about the fundamentals, they may see that it supports their case. I don't know. You know what I mean? But still, legitimate. If you're a value investor, there's no way. If you're like a legitimate value, there's no way you're buying GameStop based on that 5-minute video alone. You're just not, because you know better. I like to think that when people watch that, it communicates to them that I'm a legitimate analyst, but you might not be able to tell. And so I don't blame the masses or the internet for that, because how can you tell? It's tough to tell. This is why it's important I do the stream, and I want to do the other videos too, because you can't know the legitimacy of someone unless you actually see. It's the process. It's not the stock pick. Even if GameStop goes gangbusters, you wouldn't know I'm a good analyst. There's lots of people out there. Do a search on GameStop. There's lots of people out there saying short squeeze this, short squeeze that. So it's not just the stock pick. It's not just the spreadsheet. Who gives a shit about spreadsheets, right? Who cares? It's not about so much stuff. It's about the process. And this is why you could only really understand the Roaring Kitty approach by seeing the process. And that's why without the stream, what is there? And there's some cool videos and people will click it and you get some views and stuff. But this is the process. That's what I mean. I'll make a note here, and sometimes I'll do some research like after the fact. Like you see these notes right here, right? Can you see that okay? I feel like that's not zoomed in that much. We'll make these notes, right? And sometimes I'll do it and then I'll dig a little bit deeper after the fact. But I should be streaming during that. I should be streaming when I'm doing that extra 30 minutes or 60 minutes of research on the weekend. especially if you're curious about the process, like it's a disservice to you because you say, oh, Rowan Kitty said, oh, I'd look into this later, but you didn't see me look into it. That's not fair either. So really, it should be I should live stream whenever I'm doing research. But just so you know, and maybe you all know this, it's problematic because I don't always feel like doing research. And sometimes there's not a lot going on. You're in modes where sometimes you feel like doing the research, sometimes you don't. And sometimes there's not much happening and you don't feel like doing it. There's nothing to do and there's a quiet day. But then other times like March and April, like, I mean, I don't want to build up this channel, but there's not a better stream that could have been, like, I wasn't streaming back then. It was a mistake not to be streaming back then because it would have been so helpful for everybody to see what I was doing in March and April, because that's the best research that can be telegraphed, because you can see what matters most and going through when everything, the market's all over the place. And as it turned out, I made a lot of good decisions. I got really lucky. I can't say that enough, how much luck plays a role in this industry. But like March and April, it's like, but I wasn't ready to do this. I wasn't ready. I needed to get it to a point where I was ready, the spreadsheets and stuff. But if the market does sell off, like, not much is happening right now. All right, GameStop's doing stuff, but when the market's selling off, like we know, if you're following the stream, we've been following thousands of companies, literally thousands of companies. I got 3,000 companies. How many? 3,500 companies in here. We're already dialed in. We're already dialed into 3,500 companies. We're prepared to act. I joke a little bit. When opportunity strikes, you're prepared to pounce, like a little play on Roaring Kitty, right? But that's the truth. Like, we're already ready to run. There's very little decisions to be made because we've already looked into these stocks when nothing was going on. We're prepared for this pullback, and then we go boom, 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 pull the trigger. What's moving today? What's moving? And you can act quick. You can make a decision in 60 seconds flat. You know the price point, and I try to communicate that in some of my spreadsheets videos. That it's no joke when it's during crunch time. And so if that ever happens again, I hope I'm in a position that I'm able to stream, and I hope people like that because that's, of anything that I could have content creation or making videos on stock picks, that me live streaming during March and April would have been the best thing that I could have done for you from an educational standpoint. And I mean, I don't hope that happens again, because a lot of people are negatively impacted by the market pullback and all this stuff, like the economy and everything. A lot of negative things coming out of that. But from a strictly, I'm just separating that for just a moment, from a strictly educational point of view when it comes to the market, that's where real knowledge can be imparted upon you. And I made mistakes. I make mistakes too, but I learned myself. I learned a lot of stuff about myself too, and we can learn together during times like that. Oh, sorry, I just want a little bit. Tip for you, Harsh Patel. Since you like doing deep dive, you might do well investing in private companies too. SEC just updated the rules on who can become accredited investor to include education. Yeah, I did see that. That was cool. That was a long time in the making. They had to update that. You can take and pass the Series 65 test exam and can become accredited investor now. That allows you to invest in private companies. Before, the only way to be an accredited investor was to be rich, 300K plus in yearly income and 1 million plus liquid net worth. Yep, that's true. That's changing the definition for accredited investor is big news. Pose just shared the stream link with a few people. Hopefully some people join. Hey, all right, thanks, Pose. Oh, did I tweet it? Oh no, did I not? I didn't do it today. Hey, we get a lot of views. Sorry, I mean, this is like the first time I didn't tweet it out. Oh, sorry. Maybe I did. I forget. Sorry, I should have tweeted that out. Hey, thanks for sharing that link, by the way. I don't think I did it today. Thanks, Pose. Yeah, welcome to the stream. We got a friend in the stream, Jose, sharing out the link. I appreciate that. But we're just shooting the shit today. We're just chilling, talking about lots of stuff, GameStop and everything. But talked about the different types of content that can be rolled out here. So thanks for the feedback on this. This is good. This is a good conversation we're having, because I feel like the channel's a month old. You know what I mean? Like, it's all new. So this early feedback is helpful for me. It's kind of framing how I think about the channel and the content that could be created. But as I look out, I mean, I'm a long-term investor. The same thing goes with this channel. I don't know what I'm going to do in September, but as I look out 6 months and 12 months, I think different types of streams, different types of playlists within it, playlists dedicated to. Now I'm getting better at editing too, so I can you don't want to watch a 10-minute video on my investment style. I can get that down to like 3 minutes or something, and so then there'll be a section dedicated. Oh, you know what else I could do? Someone recommended is someone said that what you could do is you could take snippets of the live stream. And I thought, oh, that's a terrific idea. I don't have the time right now, but you know what I mean? Take some snippets of when I'm making some dumb decision, and then what I can do is I'm making some stupid ass decision. Then we'll take a snippet of it and be like, see, Roaring Kitty's an idiot. See, don't do this. Don't do this. That could be the title of the video. Don't do what Roaring Kitty does. No, I'm kidding. But like if we're having a good conversation, if someone asks a good question and results in a good back and forth about a company or whatever the hell it is, strategy, it doesn't matter. then you take that snippet, upload it. That way, you don't want it to sit in for 3 hours or click around. If you're interested in the process, you'll do that, right? That's not for everybody. I don't blame anyone I don't blame a lot of people who don't tune into this, but for those people who at least are curious about the style and stuff, and then they just give it this. So someone said this. They said, there's a lot of people, they both have value. The short videos can attract larger crowd, but it should be balanced of both. I agree. Yeah. So it's tough to know what's the best way to go about it. What's the goal of the channel? You know what I mean? I got to wrap my head around that. There's no goal right now. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but feedback helps. In the meantime, I hope GameStop keeps working. That could change things too. So, yeah, I have no idea where we were, by the way. Now it's 9:36. I have no idea. Oh, where the hell were we? Jose, what do you think might happen with GME tomorrow? Well, we talked about at the beginning of the stream, Jose. I don't know if you were here at the beginning, but because Cohen bought more shares today, Ryan Cohen bought more. He filed another 13D. I think that'll be up again. And I think... I mean, this is noise after hours, right? But I think Ryan Cohen bought more shares. The narrative, I think we're at, like, legit. I think I mean, the stock price going up a couple of days here. The stock price going up, this is weekly. But this was helping a little bit with the narrative, but nothing too big. But it was starting to get people talking, hey, this chart's starting to look a little bit... I even saw a couple technical analysts start talking positively about that. Can you believe that shit? Who that someone said anything positive about GameStop that wasn't crazy ass value investors like us, my ears perk up, because no one gives a shit about this and everyone thinks it's dead. So I was like, wow, it's popping up on some people's screens here. That looks good. Plus you saw the video. Even I thought the chart was looking good, but I didn't know if other people were noticing it. So that got the discussion started. But legit, I think today, Monday, what's today? August 31st is day one of a potential meaningful shift in sentiment. And I think tomorrow specifically, I'm not so sure. I do think because Ryan Cohen bought, and he bought more, and I think it's just getting started here. Where I think it might be a solid week. I don't know the day-to-day stuff, but I think it could be a big week. And then again, I'm repeating myself now because I mentioned in the stream, but a break above 7. I mean, a clean break above 7 on the tech. This is the weekly chart we have up. And then forget about it. Then like 10, I think 10 to 12. I think 10 to 12 is the next stopping point. And because I think the value is here, there's legitimate value here. And I don't think this is just technical and just based on technical analysis. I don't think it's just based on Ryan Cohen, like foolish sentiment type stuff. I think it's all, excuse me, the beer's getting, I think it's all grounded in legitimacy. And because of that, I think the next step up from a technical analyst standpoint, 10 to 12. And I think we get there. How quickly we get there, I'm not so sure. Could we get there before earnings? Possible. Couldn't. I mean, we're getting close. We can't take short squeeze seriously yet, but geez, 37 million shares here. Ryan Cohen's buying more. I think this is just day one. I think it's going to start happening. I don't know about I'm still not sold on the short squeeze. I'm still not sold on the short squeeze. The Q3 earnings can change my mind. That could be explosive, but I lean toward that's not happening. But if that happens, then forget about it. And if Ryan Cohen starts doing it, so Jose, you asked about tomorrow, but I'm thinking next 2 weeks. We have earnings September 9th, Wednesday, September 9th. Like, think about the next 10 days. It's probably this, you can kind of feel it, can't you? It's like the sentiment's kind of turning a bit. A lot of people talking about it. Ryan Cohen's the real deal from the media's perspective, and that's really going to help. And I don't know when he's finally going to talk about it, but I think we might get bid up before. And sometimes, then it almost doesn't. This sounds silly, but then it almost doesn't matter what they report. It could just be no matter what they report, because people have rose-colored glasses on, like it won't matter. Like then we'll start chugging along it again. But it could be explosive if they announce the share buybacks. That's really the big thing now. I know we've talked about that, but if they announce share buybacks, and Ryan Cohen starts, we need to hear from Ryan Cohen because he's making a move, and that's, I mean, it's up. The stock was up 30% today. People are taking notice, but when he starts talking about it, that's when it's like move the hell out of the way. And that's where you need Q3 earnings. You need a legitimate like partnership of some sort with GameStop. Maybe if there's the share buybacks happen, and then you got Ryan Cohen, then it's like short squeeze on the table. Shorts could be toast. Like I could envision shorts being toast. But honestly, I'm a deep value investor. I'm not an expert on market mechanics. I don't know enough about it. I'm an individual investor. What can I don't know. I do know. What is it? High short squeeze? Is that it? Highshortinterest.com. Look at this. How often do you see this shit? This is ridiculous. 102%. Like, I'm an idiot, but that's ridiculous, isn't it? Like, even I think, so I mentioned this in one of my channels. When I see a high short interest, I often get turned off by a company because I think Now there's some exceptions. Like I was long Bed Bath & Beyond. I got a clean double out of it. But most of these, I see this and I think, that's not for me. This is why GameStop was so interesting, because it's super compelling from the value investing perspective, and it's got this high short interest. So, and then Cohen's eating up some of this float, by the way. He could own 15% of the company if they did buy back. But again, so I don't know. Everyone wants the short. If you're long GameStop, you kind of want the short squeeze, right? That's a nice thing to have. But yeah. I don't entertain that idea I think about it. We talk about it, but it's more the business value itself. Like now, if you look out 5 years, 10 years, GameStop from the lows could be a 10-bagger. Even from recent lows, it could be. But I don't know. Sorry, some people ask some more questions. Just share. Thanks, Jose. Harsh Patel. Video game industry has been up in Q2 compared to Q2 last year. Yep. So that's true. So this, I mentioned this in the video, right? Gaming's thriving. It's And that's a benefit to the whole industry. So the whole physical, I haven't heard too many people talking about, now that GameStop, see what I mean? Now that GameStop price is going up, not too many people talking about physical versus digital. Maybe they are, I'm just not seeing it. But there's nothing that drives sentiment like price. Price just drives sentiment. All of a sudden the price goes up and then everyone starts viewing it differently. Like, physical versus this, that's a ridiculous argument. But that's what dominated the conversation for 6 months. But anyway, gaming's thriving. There's a question of how much GameStop specifically is benefiting from it. I think they are. I don't know how much year over year. That's what we're going to learn. How much are they benefiting relative to last year? This was supposed to be a dead period, by the way. There was supposed to be nothing going on. This is a console cycle year. No one's releasing games. By the way, this is the earliest they announced the new consoles. They announced it May of last year. So I think a lot of developers and even consumers, they kind of like pump the brakes to like, we're just going to wait for the new console. So it's like, this was going to be a really dead period. And I don't know that the pandemic's going to be a net benefit for GameStop. Isn't that crazy? But it's definitely, that gaming is booming, is benefiting their business model to a degree. So and then you just see their online sales were up 15x from a low base, right? But even still, it's like 16x or something crazy. So yeah, that could have continued on into this quarter. They said May sales were up only down 4% over year, which is big. So I don't know. We'll see. But all else equal, all the other brick and mortar retailers out there, their backdrop is not crazy up like gaming is. So isn't that terrific? Jose, will Cohen's next form also be due on the 9th? He filed today. No, he filed. So I thought, I did think he had 10 days. I thought he had 10 days. So, which I was a little bit confused. Check this. He filed one today. So there's two possibilities here. He filed this one today, and I mentioned this at the beginning. It could be because there was an error. So two things. If you look at the transaction, the dates, he shifted the dates in this new filing. I think originally he filed using transaction date, and then he changed it to settlement date. But the other thing is, remember that price that was $6? It's gone. So here's the latest one. See how there's nothing here from August 13th, $6? Watch this. Check the old one. Oh. There it is. What happened? So the dates change. You can pull this up on your own. I don't want to switch between the two. But the dates changed by like one business day. And so that he switched the transaction to settlement. Maybe it's supposed to be settlement, or maybe vice versa. I don't even know. It doesn't matter. But then he removed this. And so my interpretation was, I think that this was, see how he sold them to RC Ventures? I think that he bought these in his individual capacity back in the day. And he had an average cost basis of $618. He included here because he sold all these shares to RC. He wanted to include for transparency. Some people were saying he bought it pre-market, but I don't know. I don't think so. But anyway, now it's gone. So it may be that he filed today because there was an error or he needed to update this aspect. But I found it weird that he updated it that he bought 400,000 shares. Because if he's going to buy more and more shares, don't file the 13D. Like, give yourself a little bit of time. I think you said 10 days. I think he had 10 days too. But why did he file it next day? Give yourself time. Maybe he's done buying. Maybe he's going up to 9.9%. That's common. I don't know. So anyway, keep an eye out. I checked today, and there it was. He filed a new one. So I was like, let's just see if he files something today. So maybe he does file one on the 9th, but he already filed another one. Harsh Patel, also in Q1 earnings, they mentioned May same-store revenue was down. Oh, I just mentioned that. I didn't even see you commented that. Yeah, so I agree with you, Harsh, that May sales were an indication of what could be a potentially good quarter. I don't know if that trend persisted, but even still, only minus 4% in May. Terrific. Jose, Best Buy had a surprise Q2. This could happen with GME as well. I did see that. That's important news. You see me pull up charts for the industry. Like I'm comparing, but same thing with news releases too, right? Hey, how'd this company do? And Best Buy is definitely in that same sub industry. So that Best Buy did well is great. It was a little bit weird. Remember when GameStop was getting shit for remaining open? Which I don't want to get into every little last detail with maybe some things that I don't know, like. In particular, what I'm calling out is that they were getting shit for being now how they managed that whole situation. You know what I mean? Maybe that they deserve some criticism of that, but that just the mere fact of remaining open. But Best Buy remained open that whole time, and no one really batted an eye. I always thought that was kind of interesting. It's like there's not much difference between these businesses, and from what I saw, maybe Best Buy did get shit. I wasn't paying attention. Brian Hayes, should I put all my eggs in one basket and invest? Oh, I can't. No. This stream is for educational purposes only. Brian, I recommend you meet up with a financial professional if you're truly curious about whether GME would be a good investment for you. You got to sit down with a financial professional, someone who could learn about your personal situation. This channel is just like general education about like how I might be approaching the market, but I can't say, Brian. I can't say. But definitely sync up with someone if you're curious, maybe especially if the advisor is a value investor and you're curious about that. That's what I'd recommend. Post I could have a crazy payoff, but I would not do that too risky. Yeah, it just depends. I mean, I can't give any advice for anyone in particular. So much depends on like your risk tolerance, your willingness, your ability to take risk, and the context of what your financial situation is. I got a couple disclaimer videos on my channel I can direct you to, but it's your usual stuff of you'd want to talk to someone who can learn more about you as an individual and kind of figure out if it makes sense in the context of your, general financial situation, but in particular your investment portfolio. Yeah. All right, so what are we doing on time? 9:47? Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, good. Hey, good conversations, huh? I'm getting more of an expert on GME after today. Usually, like you said, if someone asks, like, what's it going to do tomorrow? I'd usually just say, like, 55. I think in my mind, 55% chance it does one thing, 45% chance it does the other. I never have much more conviction than that. But this time, I'd actually probably say, this is going to be high for me. I'd probably say 70% chance that it's up. Maybe even 80%, which is really high for me. I almost never go that high on things. I think it's going to be up again. Because now, isn't it getting kind of a little bit squeezy? I don't think the squeeze has taken place or anything. This is nothing. It's right where it's always been. I think I can make a box with this thing. Can I make a box? Yeah. Can I do that? Don't people do this? Hey, look at that. I did it. It's nowhere. You see me sometimes pull up a chart. I go, nothing's happening. Really, not much has happened for GameStop in a year. This is what I mean. Nothing's happened, but I think it is going to be up tomorrow. That's what I mean. Let's watch what happens in the next 10 days, because then I think it could go boom, 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 because then maybe the shorts are closing, but maybe the longs are like, oh, shit, maybe there is something there. But you need more narrative. You need more story, and Ryan Cohen can help with that. All we have so far is a 13D, and that's not enough. Jang, I feel Q2 will be good for GME. Animal Crossing released in April. Stimulus checks to the people and increase in gaming trends are all good signs. Oh, wait a second. I thought Animal Crossing was released in March. Well, they probably had a ton of sales in it. I thought it was really, because I included it in my video. Didn't I say March? Oh, sorry, but I'll read Jang. He said, I feel Q2 will be good for GME. Animal Crossing released in April. Stimulus checks to the people and increase in gaming trends are all good. First of all, I agree with you. Sometimes I agree with you. Let me just start with that. I too think that it could be good, but like gangbusters, like change people's mind, or it's not a make or break for the company. But I lean toward, doesn't it seem more likely that it could beat for these reasons? Right, even if Animal Crossing was released in March, it doesn't matter because probably a ton of people were buying it in April, May, and June. It's one of the best-selling games of all time. I mentioned on the stream. Look it up. Over 20 million units in just a couple of months. Just crazy. So they had that. And it's good for Nintendo too. Excuse me, it's good for GameStop. Nintendo skews physical. There's a ton of, I mentioned that in the video too. I think that's really good for GameStop. I don't have numbers to defend that. That's why I said I assume all this stuff. But if you look at the used games, they sell at a pretty, not at a premium, but they sell at a good chunk. I feel like GameStop probably dominates that market. I don't know though. But, and so that in particular, Animal Crossing is crushing it, I think is good news for GameStop, especially because it's not just Animal Crossing, it's the Switch. The Switch as a console has been, you can't even get it anywhere, right? And, excuse me, that's big news for GameStop because I think that, and you saw in my video, like a lot of people, Nintendo skews more physical, right? But I think a lot of people, it might be more for the casual investors, Nintendo type stuff, and I think a lot of people might shop at GameStop, those types of people. So the Switch, and you saw they're going to release an upgrade to the Switch, or it's rumored, I guess. But in April of next year, I'm talking about, I made my video before that was even announced, talk about more downside protection. That's going to increase the chances that they'll have some additional free cash flows. That's not even part of my thesis. Like, I thought maybe it might have been another year. When I first read the release, I thought it was going to be 2022. It took me, I think I realized on the stream that it's 6 months from now, if it happens. And so this is all great news for GameStop that really no one's even talking about. Yang Vu, oh, you're right, it was March, my bad. Yeah, but you're still right that probably a lot of them were sold in April, May. Jose, good signs, been fun in here, but I got to get some sleep. Thanks, Jose. You had some great questions. Thanks for sending that link out, too. I appreciate it. Hey, rocket ship, our GMA to the moon tomorrow. Yeah, maybe. Cheers. Jordan, Paper Mario, Ghost got back, more consoles and inventory. Yes, I did see that. I feel maybe they are trying to churn more of their games, too. Get people in and out and be the best place to resell. All hearsay. Yep. When does the new Zelda come out? Jordan, if they get 1.2 billion in revenue, that would be huge. Yeah, you did mention that before, 1.2 billion in revenue. I did see they had more inventory stuff too. Yeah. I don't know. So yeah, a lot of hearsay, a lot of word of mouth. I've seen people talking about people going into GameStop stores. I got a GameStop store near me too. And yeah, I don't know. See, this is a good thing about being a value investor, right? Is like, so for some people, I don't think this is the case for anyone who's making this comment, but for some people out there, their investment style is they try to precisely forecast what earnings are going to be. And me, I'm a value investor. I don't give a shit. This is fun to have a conversation about it. This is fun, right? I mean, we're just shooting the shit, just thinking out loud, and just brainstorming about what could happen, and things to think about. And but really, I think as long as it's just not like in my mind, I'm thinking as long as it's not terrible, we're in good shape. That's what I think. If GameStop, as long as GameStop doesn't announce like minus 50% or something, and when these things that you're sharing in the chat here support the case that that's likely not going to happen, right? It doesn't. You're not suggesting this, and no one's interpreting it. It doesn't mean they're going to crush it, right? But it does seem likely with these items you're tossing out here that it's probably going to be okay this quarter. And if that's the case, they just need that at minimum, that it's just an okay quarter, not terrible. And the rest, I think, will take care of itself. You know that saying, that idiom, right? That focus on the downside, the upside will take care of itself. That's the case here too, and it's the case with this quarter. Like these things are tossing out here. You're reminding me of it's gonna be. It's unlikely that you're gonna have like a fossil type quarter of down 50%. But yeah, I'm prepared for minus 20%. I'm prepared for minus 30% in my head. But what I'm more focused on, like Jordan, you've been mentioning the revenue. I'm curious about the cash burn. Like they forecasted liquidity. Of, what'd they say, 550 or 600 million? I'm surprised they tossed that out there. Now liquidity, didn't that include cash and the revolver and stuff? And someone asked on Seeking Alpha, they asked the management team, does that include the sale leaseback proceeds? And they said no. So they had some idea. This was in June that they were forecasting that, or that they made the announcement. Oh, what am I drinking water for? I still got to finish my beer. They were making that forecast. So if they're forecasting, I'm more focused on the cash burn. Like, as long as they didn't burn too much cash, that's what I mean. Revenue is important, though, right? Revenue is important because the sentiment, like, this is what people are focused on, the revenues and even earnings. I mean, I haven't cared about earnings on GameStop in ever. But your revenues matter for sentiment reasons, and revenues are one of, like, the 5 things that I'm really dialed into when I pull up the fundamentals. So I agree it matters. But personally, for my protecting the downside, it's that cash burn. Did they burn cash? What was anything for this? What could be one of the final subpar quarters? Because from here on out, it could be good quarters from here on out. So I wanted to see what they did in this one. Harsh Patel. Yep, I just want them to hit the estimates. I think it's 970 million. Yeah, what estimates? So I don't know what estimate. Are those analyst estimates? I honestly don't follow the analyst estimates and stuff. You're right though, but as far as I'm concerned, like whether or not they hit or miss, that's going to impact the daily move, maybe even the weekly move, but it's not going to affect the monthly move or the annual. You know what I mean? Like, I actually have no idea I know Jordan has, he's talked about 1.2 billion in revenue, so I remember that. But Harsh, you just mentioned 975. Yeah, analyst estimates. Okay. Interesting. FYI, and I've mentioned this in one of my long ass videos, they had $1 billion in revenues in Q1. Like their stores were literally closed, right? Literally closed, and they still had $1 billion. That's why I always laugh when people go, "No one shops there anymore." And my family and friends say that to me, right? They're like, "No one shops there anymore. No one shops there anymore." I'm like, "They had $1 billion in revenues when in a quarter where everyone was quarantining and stuff like that." I'm like, "People shop there. You might not shop there, but like people do." And anyway, that $1 billion figure for in one quarter is just, you see the types of companies I look at in like $1 billion in a quarter. That's a big, for me, it's a big company. Like there's legitimate interest in there, and because of the consoles, it likely they're going to stabilize. This downward trend's not going to continue. So yeah, now I mean, I'm anchoring to Jordan's 1.2 billion, but I have no idea whether or not they'll beat or miss estimates. No idea. It'd be preferred if they they get to that billion. So, but that's good for me to know too. If the estimate is 975, then now I'm like, all right, let's just get to the billion. But it does, like I said, that's more for daily moves or something like that if you're trying to time something. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah. What was I just talking about? Oh yeah, the quarter. Yeah, the quarter. Jose asked about Zelda, but I don't know the timing of the games. Yeah, what's the next quarter looking like for GameStop? What's this current quarter looking like? So August, September, October, and then November, December, January. I don't know what this quarter. So I guess this quarter, I've been saying that this is the final. This could be a challenging quarter too, but I think people will start amping up. Like I think what's going to happen is, and you might get people trading in their consoles too. That's the thing. So GameStop's going to be the go-to place for trading in consoles. Aren't people going to trade in their consoles to like as part of the upgrade? Not everyone, but a lot of people will. And then people will start getting excited for these consoles. So that's why I think this quarter actually will be okay, even though maybe not gangbusters or anything. Brian Hayes, I've seen so many people saying they think GME will hit $50 a share. If it does, when do you think that will happen? I have no idea, Brian. I have no idea if we'll hit $50 a share, and if it does, I even have less. It's possible. I talk about in my thing how hitting $50 is possible, especially if they bought back shares. It's only a $2 billion market cap. That's not that crazy, but I have the likelihood of that reaching $50. I don't know, and the timing of it, I have no idea. It could be if it ever reaches that. Even if it ever did reach, it could be years before it ever reaches that. But even that right now, I'd say is a low probability. So I'd be careful of the people saying it's definitely going to hit it or that it's going to happen sooner and everything. It's really speculation. I included in one of my videos like it's a legitimate possibility that not enough people are talking about as a possible outcome. But it's just as a possibility. Like as I mentioned earlier in the stream, it's a possibility that we should talk through all possibilities and then challenge each other as to what's probable. What's the likelihood of this? And then to your question, Brian, not only is it probable, but when's it going to happen by? Because that's important too. So I personally don't know, but I try to share my views on this stuff during the stream. But yeah, Harsh, just a perfect storm for the short squeeze if they beat estimates. Yes, that's true. This quarter, video game revenue was up 30% for July 2. Yeah, so I included that in the latest video too, to be like, it was up 30. I tried to include the latest gaming data that said that it was up 30%, 32%, 33, whatever it was, up 30%. Like that was the most timely data, right? And that was the final month of the quarter. So I agree. And if anyone were thinking about a short squeeze, you need that perfect storm for short squeeze. That's what I mean. Like if a short squeeze were to happen, you kind of need a perfect storm. Right now, it still doesn't seem that likely. But again, another possibility that at least should be talked about if it were to happen, what would happen prior to then. Yang, it probably won't happen until next year. They generate the most cash from used game sales, so people will have to be trading in old games first before they can flip it for money. That's true. You'd expect more trade-ins. Yes, so I agree with you. You're right. But you'd expect the used games business probably to do well too, as people are buying games too around then. That's why I think next year will be a good year. Brian Hayes, really appreciate your stance on this. I feel like a lot of people like to overhype these type of things, and it makes. Oh yeah, no. Thank you for sharing that, Brian, because I feel that same way. If you check out my videos and stream, I try to be as real as I can be. Like, well, this is how I feel about this stuff, and I agree with you. Some people I see out there, it's more like it becomes like a meme stock. People trying to hype it up. I'm not like that, and I appreciate you sharing that because I hope it doesn't come off like that in these streams or in my videos. I try to keep it as objective as possible. I want certain things to happen, but that doesn't change whether it's likely to happen, if it's gonna happen. That stuff's important, and it's important to me. It's not just about what GameStop does. Like I said, there's more stocks. There's portfolio management is much bigger than one stock. So I try to be real honest with myself, with you as well. You got to be real with yourself because about the process. You can't if you start fooling yourself, if you start lying to yourself, I mean, I know so, but if you start like not being true to yourself, like you throw yourself out of whack down the line. You know what I mean? So you're always going to be I say this in the stream. You're in a perpetual state of introspection. I'm always like reflecting this, and you do this as an individual investor. You're like reflecting, like how much do I actually believe this? How accurate what's my conviction in this? You know what I mean? Like you're always second guessing yourself, and you're in more of a pursuit of truth than you are about hyping up a stock. It's like, what's actually true? And then I like when people call me out. Like I mentioned that earlier. It's like, I hope people call me out because I don't want to fall victim to confirmation bias and stuff. I care more about being right. And that doesn't mean I'm always right. I'm not, because you place a bet based on what you know at the time. And sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it does. But what you're trying to do is fine tune what those estimates are, what those probabilities are. And it sounds so silly, but if you're 75% sure versus 70% sure, something like that makes a difference. Steven Sinkowski, GME should use some of the money on the balance sheet to pivot to a specialty online retailer, an investment in digital. Maybe there is still a spot for stores, showrooms, large trades in esports. I agree with you, Steven. Well said. And so the key takeaway from your comment there is, and this is what I tried to make clear in the videos, it doesn't even matter. The point for this thesis, the crux of this thesis, is that the opportunity is there. And you're not saying this, Steven, but it doesn't mean they're going to pull it off, right? But you're right. They could become a specialty online retailer. And if you read what Ryan Cohen said about Chewy, a lot of the stuff he says about Chewy, like being category experts, being the place people want to shop at because of the customer experience, because of so many the tremendous in-store experience, blah blah blah. An investment in digital. Maybe there's a spot for stores, for showrooms, large trade-ins, for esports, for people to play games. So I agree with you. I have nothing to add. Well said. And that's what the market's missing. The market is priced historically. Maybe it's changing a little bit, but the market is priced in zero, Stephen, of what you're proposing. 0% chance that any of that could happen. And I'm not saying it's, and to Brian's point, I'm not saying that it's going to happen. But in my analysis, this is why I share my analysis, because I want people to poke holes and be like, hey, the Roaring Kitty video missed this or missed that, because in my analysis, it is not zero. It is not a 0% chance that they pull this off. There's legitimate opportunity here, and gaming is thriving, and I agree with you, Steven. And I tried to cover a lot of those things in the latest video, and a lot of my videos, right? But there's even more. Someone had a tweet out a while back where someone said, just tossed out to everyone, what could GameStop do to reinvent itself? And everyone tossed out a ton of good ideas. And maybe, I mean, I'm a nobody. These people, the people on the Twitter, maybe they actually did know stuff. But I'm like, there's a ton of good ideas here. You telling me GameStop couldn't leverage one of these? I think a lot of people don't realize it was a new management team. They're really laser focused on improving shit. And there's people, I don't know. I agree with you, Steven. And I don't know what GameStop's going to look like in 5 years, but I can appreciate that, like I said, there's a non-zero chance they pull something out of here. And before, I would have said pulled a rabbit out of a hat or something like that. But with Cohen involved, and if some other folks get on board, like Reggie's part of the board too, but with Cohen on there too, I don't know. It just seems the odds have increased in my mind for what that's worth to you. So we'll see what happens here. But we're over 10-3. Oh, don't tell YouTube. Oh, don't tell YouTube I went over. Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble. You can't go over. We didn't get to shit today. Hey, it was a good stream though. Hey, welcome everybody to the live stream. This is great. Thank you for all the questions. The questions are terrific. Thank you for the feedback on stuff. It informs my thinking. You see that when the videos were taken live, this shit's new, and I don't have a long-term plan right now. I'm kind of just iterating, testing stuff out. So I appreciate the questions, appreciate the feedback. And if you're new to the stream, you can check out some of the other streams to see what we actually do during the live stream. Usually we're digging into daily movers, insider buying, all that stuff, just seeing what's happening, just tracking stuff, really, not much. Jordan, fun, awesome work. Thanks, Jordan. Cheers, mate. Appreciate your commentary always. Thank you, everybody. Well, I'll cut it out now, and then let's see what happens with GameStop tomorrow and on Wednesday. I think we'll get some follow-through on the week, but I have no idea. I'm not a day trader. What the hell do I know? But it looks like it was good news after hours, so I bet we get some good stuff. Thank you, Brian. Cheers, man. I appreciate it. But let's see. So, exciting times, no doubt. Look at this box. Look at this beautiful box, right? That's proof right there that it's exciting time. But, all right. So, thank you, everybody. I will see you on Wednesday. And now for the new folks, you get to see the outro video here. So, let me cue this up. Oh, I got to finish my beer, right? Cheers, everybody. Peace out.